Chapter 2497 Chapter 2497 The best way to do that was to do the Emperor a favor. Zhuo Qinghuan knew that if she could save concubine Oriole and the baby, Emperor Wu would be grateful for what she did and would stop questioning her. She was indeed the culprit who had tripped concubine Oriole. "I can help her," Zhuo Qinghuan said calmly. "Firmament Palace is known for its medical skills. I'm the Sacred Lady, and I specialize in medicine." She turned to Emperor Wu. "If your Majesty wants to keep both the lady and the baby alive, I'm the only one who can help them." Emperor Wu studied her. The truth was that he didn't trust her, hence. "Gao, go get Miss Feng Wu." That order felt like a slap to Zhuo Qinghuan's face. Why was this even happening? Why would Emperor Wu trust Feng Wu, but not her? "Your Majesty." Zhuo Qinghuan revered Emperor Wu, but her desire for Jun Linyuan prevailed. She said, "I'm a semi-supreme level physician and will soon be at the supreme level. Why would Feng Wu?" "Semi?" Emperor Wu smirked. "Feng Wu passed that level a long time ago. What was that supposed to mean?" Zhuo Qinghuan was dumbfounded at first. Then, the Empress Dowager said, "That's right. Go get Feng Wu. She's the best candidate for the job." "What?" Zhuo Qinghuan's cheeks flushed with fury. She remembered the information Tonke had given her. It mentioned that Feng Wu had treated the Empress Dowager a few times with the assistance of Master Chu, and now Master Chu was here. Zhuo Qinghuan stared at Emperor Wu, and her eyes glinted. She had been humiliated, and she would have her revenge. She quickly hatched a plan. Empress Dugu was also embarrassed. She led Zhuo Qinghuan to the side and whispered, "Feng Wu is indeed a capable physician. Don't take the risk." Zhuo Qinghuan smirked. So what if Feng Wu was already a supreme-level physician? Other than medical skills, Firmament Palace was also great at something else: assassination. Their undead insects could kill a person without leaving a trace. "Sure," Zhuo Qinghuan replied. She was so good at controlling her emotions that even Empress Dugu couldn't see how furious she actually was. Master Chu and Master Ba were doing their best to help concubine Oriole. Zhuo Qinghuan lowered her gaze. She had done more than just trip concubine Oriole. Without her intervention, both mother and baby would die today. In the end, the Emperor would still have to ask for her help. That thought greatly satisfied Zhuo Qinghuan. Inside, the midwife was doing all she could to get the baby out. But concubine Oriole couldn't go into labor, and the pain was excruciating. She screamed at the top of her lungs. Gradually, her voice became weaker. Master Chu came out with his face covered in sweat. "Your Majesty, the lady is in critical condition, and I really need a hand." Emperor Wu gritted his teeth. "Feng Wu isn't here yet," the Empress Dowager said. "It's been almost 5 minutes. Where's she?" Chapter 2498 Princess Feng Wu is here. Chapter 2498 Princess Feng Wu is here. 5 minutes. Granny Lan was speechless. Gao probably hadn't arrived at the Feng clan yet. Of course, Miss Feng Wu couldn't be here so soon. She didn't have wings. Master Chu turned to Emperor Wu. "Your Majesty, if someone doesn't give me a hand now, we'll lose both the mother and the baby." Emperor Wu was shocked. "Didn't you say that you can save one of them?" Master Chu shook his head. "That was before. Things have become much worse now." Zhuo Qinghuan smiled a little. She was waiting for the Emperor to beg her for help. She was the only one who could save the lady and her baby. She smirked for a split second, and Emperor Wu just happened to look at her at that moment. Zhuo Qinghuan. When Feng Wu interrogated Zhuo He, the Emperor heard Zhuo He admit that Zhuo Qinghuan was the criminal mastermind behind the scheme against Feng Wu. Emperor Wu hadn't believed it at first. Zhuo Qinghuan had only been a little girl back then. How bad could she be? She couldn't be so cruel. But now he believed it. However, he still cared about his concubine and the baby. Even though he was the Emperor, he still had to. He didn't like the idea of asking Zhuo Qinghuan for help at all. Zhuo Qinghuan was so sure that Emperor Wu would ask her for help. When Princess Feng Wu is here, Gao's voice rang out. The next moment, Feng Wu rushed into the room. "Your Majesty." She was about to greet Emperor Wu, when he grabbed her wrist and pushed her into the bedchamber. "There's no time for that. Help them." "Yes." It took Feng Wu less than 3 seconds from walking into the room to disappearing behind the door curtain of the bedchamber. Zhuo Qingwan couldn't believe it. How had Feng Wu arrived so soon? Emperor Wu was so excited to see Feng Wu. She was right on time. He then glanced at Zhuo Qingwan. "How dare you try to blackmail me?" He had never been a magnanimous man, and now he held a grudge against Zhuo Qingwan. But Zhuo Qingwan didn't notice the look in his eyes. She only cared about the woman in labor. She had put an undead insect in concubine Oriole. That was why the baby wouldn't come out. She believed that Feng Wu would never find out. At that thought, Zhuo Qingwan smirked again. It was good news for her that Feng Wu had arrived so soon. This way, she could prove to the world that despite being a supreme-level physician, Feng Wu couldn't save concubine Oriole and her baby. Seeing that things were getting messy, Mrs. Zhuo gave Zhuo Qingwan a warning glance, telling her to leave. But Zhuo Qingwan shook her head. Mrs. Zhuo was so anxious. They had only been here for minutes, and so many things had happened. She began to panic. But Zhuo Qingwan was very confident. Chapter 2499, I Won't Let Her. Chapter 2499, I Won't Let Her. Feng Wu was bound to fail, so Zhuo Qingwan wasn't worried. As expected, concubine Oriole's voice grew weaker and weaker until she sounded like a cat meowing. Master Chu was assisting Feng Wu. At first, Feng Wu didn't find out what was wrong. She examined everything and checked the concubine's pulse a few times, but still found nothing. Master Chu was worried. "Miss Wu, do you know what's going on?" Feng Wu rolled her eyes at him. Master Chu smiled bitterly. His Majesty cares about the lady and her baby very much. If something goes wrong, we're going to... Just then, concubine Oriole grabbed Master Chu's hand. "Master Chu, help me." Master Chu drew back his hand and told concubine Oriole, "Miss Feng Wu is a much better physician. I'm only assisting her. You should be asking for her help." "No." Concubine Oriole shook her head. "She's a bad person. She'll kill me. Master Chu, please help me." Master Chu was shocked. Why would she say such things in a moment like this? He immediately said to Feng Wu, "Miss Wu, concubine Oriole is only." Feng Wu said grumpily, "Let's just save her life first." Concubine Oriole screamed, "I don't need your help. You're evil." Feng Wu rolled her eyes at the woman. She couldn't take it anymore. She wasn't obligated to save this woman. She turned to leave. When she walked out of the room, Emperor Wu immediately took her hands. "Kiddo, is Oriole all right?" Zhuo Qingwan smirked. "All right?" She knew better than anyone else how concubine Oriole was doing. The undead insect was still in her womb and stopping the baby from coming out. Of course, she wouldn't tell anyone what was going on. Ever since Zhuo Qingwan came back, she had been living in Feng Wu's shadow. Now that she heard concubine Oriole's desperate cries, she felt so satisfied. She had always known that she liked to see other people suffer. Whenever someone else was in pain, she would find it cathartic. Feng Wu glanced at Emperor Wu and gestured at the bedchamber. "I won't let her treat me. She's evil. She's going to kill me. Your Majesty, please let Miss Zhuo help me." Concubine Oriole shouted at the top of her lungs. Emperor Wu was furious, but Zhuo Qingwan looked pleased. After hearing that, Emperor Wu had to let her treat the lady. The Empress Dowager's face darkened. Concubine Oriole's shouting was giving her a headache. "Your Majesty, if Oriole is insisting that Zhuo Qingwan treat her, I'm sure that something went wrong when Feng Wu was there. How about we let Zhuo Qingwan treat her first? If the baby still won't come out, we can then send Feng Wu in." The Empress Dowager had never considered the possibility that Feng Wu wouldn't treat Oriole. Chapter 2500, She Left. Chapter 2500, She Left. In the Empress Dowager's eyes, Feng Wu should feel honored to be given the chance to treat a member of the royal family. Emperor Wu said apologetically, "Xiao Wu, sorry about this." Concubine Oriole doesn't know what she's talking about. After the baby is born, I'll make her apologize to you. Feng Wu waved him off. There's no need. If I'm not needed here, I'll go back home. She promptly left after that. Everyone was astonished. She left. Just like that. How could she? How could she act so arrogantly in front of the royal family? The Empress Dowager was furious. Let her go. We'll be just fine without her. Concubine Oriole will be fine. The Empress Dowager smirked. How can a girl of her age have such a temper? Jun Wuxia said, my brother likes her just fine. The Empress Dowager wanted to smack Jun Wuxia on the head. Let Zhuo Qingwan treat Oriole, said the Empress Dowager. She then turned to Emperor Wu. You may not trust the skills of Firmament Palace, but I do. Zhuo Qingwan is a much better physician than Feng Wu. Go inside. If the prince is born safely, I'll give you a big reward. The Empress Dowager told Zhuo Qingwan. Zhuo Qingwan bowed politely before going into the room. The Empress Dowager was pleased. That's a perfect bow. She must have worked very hard on it. Granny Gui immediately said, that's so true. Her knees were bent at the perfect angle. It was so beautiful. Apart from Granny Gui, the Empress Dowager also had Granny Lan as her maid. Compared with Granny Gui, Granny Lan was a much more decent person. She thought, does she know how urgent the situation is? Nobody cares about a perfect bow. Of course, she wouldn't dare say that out loud. The Empress Dowager glared at Emperor Wu. You've indulged that Feng Wu too much. How could she walk out on us like that? She needs to be tamed. Emperor Wu took a deep breath as he listened to his mother's ranting. Concubine Oriole was very frustrating, but Xiao had left so quickly to... I'll talk to her later. She's as stubborn as Jun Linyuan. I'll make sure that she's disciplined. Disciplined? The Empress Dowager couldn't believe her ears. If anything happens to Concubine Oriole and the baby, I'll kill her. Emperor Wu said, I'm sure that isn't her fault. The Empress Dowager wanted to kick Emperor Wu. What happened to her docile son? The Empress Dowager smirked. If Zhuo Qingwan wasn't here, Concubine Oriole and the baby would have been left to die. I'll never forget what Feng Wu did. Chapter 25:01. Zhuo Qingwan realizes something is wrong. Chapter 25:01. Zhuo Qingwan realizes something is wrong. Emperor Wu didn't know what to say. In the delivery room, Zhuo Qingwan knew where to find the undead insect which she had put inside the mother. To avoid any suspicion, she couldn't find the source of the problem too fast. Concubine Oriole looked expectantly at Zhuo Qingwan. Miss Qingwan, please help me. You're my only hope now. I don't trust Feng Wu. Concubine Oriole whimpered. She wanted to cry and shout, but she was too exhausted to raise her voice. Zhuo Qingwan smirked. Help her. That had never been part of her plan. If Concubine Oriole was kept alive, other people might find evidence on her that could lead back to Zhuo Qingwan. Therefore, the lady had to die. But Concubine Oriole didn't know that. She looked at Zhuo Qingwan and relaxed a little. Then, Zhuo Qingwan realized that something was wrong. Her undead insect was supposed to be at the entrance of the mother's womb. Zhuo Qingwan could use the insect in her own body to control the one inside Concubine Oriole and guide it out of her womb. That way, she wouldn't leave any evidence behind. It was a perfect plan, but she couldn't sense the other undead insect anymore. It was dead. Zhuo Qingwan was shocked. How could that happen? That undead insect was a top-level one. She had been feeding it her blood every day. It shouldn't have died so easily. Come out. Zhuo Qingwan tried to lure out the undead insect. But no matter how hard she tried, nothing happened. Soon, it hurts. Concubine Oriole's voice grew weaker and weaker. Zhuo Qingwan turned to Master Chu. A natural birth is out of the question. Our only option is to cut Concubine Oriole's belly open and take out the baby. Master Chu said, but that will kill the mother. Looking at Concubine Oriole, who was slipping into unconsciousness, Zhuo Qingwan said coldly, it's either her or the baby. Which one is it going to be? Master Chu said, it's not our call. Concubine Oriole should be the one making that choice. She alone has the right to decide who lives. He remained level-headed. Zhuqingwan smirked. The Empress Dowager gave me the order before I came in. If only one of them can live, choose the baby. I'm simply following her order. She then took out a dagger and aimed it at Concubine Oriole's belly. She needed to move fast. That was because the undead insect turned into blood after it died, and the baby was absorbing it now. If she waited any longer, the baby would die. Your blade isn't disinfected. Master Chu stared at her. Miss Feng Wu says that all blades need to be disinfected. A dirty blade will get the patient killed. Zhuo Qingwan glared at him. She's going to die. Anyway. Master Chu, move aside. Chapter 2502. Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 1. Chapter 2502. Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 1. Master Chu insisted. Disinfect the blade first. Zhuo Qingwan wanted to kill the stubborn old man. This was the first time she was showing off her skills in front of the Empress Dowager. She didn't care about Concubine Oriole, but she would be so humiliated if she couldn't save the baby. Left with no other choice, Zhuo Qingwan had to heat the blade first before she cut open Concubine Oriole's belly. The baby was indeed a boy, but his skin was a light purple, and he wasn't making a sound. Master Chu was busy treating Concubine Oriole when Zhuo Qingwan said coldly, "Don't bother. The little prince is our priority." Concubine Oriole wasn't completely unconscious. She heard what Zhuo Qingwan said. She looked up at Zhuo Qingwan and couldn't believe how cold-blooded she was. But she couldn't even lift a finger. Zhuo Qingwan was treating the baby. Her face had darkened a little. The baby had absorbed some of the blood of the undead insect, and he was poisoned. The undead insect was from Firmament Palace and could be traced back to her. Zhuo Qingwan studied the baby. She wondered if she should save him. If he was alive, he would become evidence of her crime. But if she didn't save him, the others would think that she wasn't good enough. Would the Empress Dowager ever trust her again? She decided to keep him alive and neutralize the poison later. The midwife was so nervous that she almost burst into tears. The baby was silent. She was worried that if the baby died, she would be punished as well. Zhuo Qingwan smacked the baby on his butt. The baby cried. The midwife let out a breath of relief. Zhuo Qingwan then headed out. Master Chu said, "What about Concubine Oriole? Aren't you going to do something?" Zhuo Qingwan didn't even look back. She's bound to die. There's no need to do anything. Master Chu couldn't believe his ears. Concubine Oriole didn't want to die. She finally had a son, and her new life had just begun. "I don't want to die." Zhuo Qingwan left the room with the baby. The Empress Dowager was pleased to see that it was a boy, but that didn't mean that she was fond of the baby. Jun Linyuan was the only grandson she loved. As for the other princes and princesses, they were as good as strangers to her. "How about Concubine Oriole?" Emperor Wu asked. Zhuo Qingwan shook her head. Concubine Oriole volunteered to have her belly cut open to save the baby. "Your Majesty, if you go inside now, you can still say goodbye to her." How cold-blooded! Emperor Wu glared at Zhuo Qingwan. How could she say such a thing in such a calm voice? The Empress Dowager frowned. "You mean you can't save Concubine Oriole?" Zhuo Qingwan said, "I'm sorry, Your Majesties." Concubine Oriole had an influential family as well. Her brother worked in Northern Feng General's army. Since Concubine Oriole was on Empress Dugu's side, so was her brother. Chapter 2503. Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 2. Chapter 2503. Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 2. Northern Feng General had never seen eye to eye with Empress Dugu, and having Zhang Ying, Concubine Oriole's brother, in his army was quite the pain in the neck. Because of that, Feng Sun didn't like Concubine Oriole at all. Of course, Feng Wu didn't know that. Master Chu suddenly rushed out of the bedchamber and said to Emperor Wu, "Your Majesty, there's still hope. We just need to get Miss Feng Wu back." Emperor Wu asked, "Are you sure?" Master Chu said, Yes. Her Majesty was in critical condition several times, and Miss Feng Wu managed to turn things around every single time. I'm sure that she'll be able to do something. The Empress Dowager was about to object, but what Master Chu said rendered her speechless. Emperor Wu looked at the crying baby. The baby had just been born, and he still had a whole life in front of him. If concubine Oriole died, Emperor Wu would feel guilty for the rest of his life over the death of the baby's mother. That was what Jun Linyuan had gone through. Emperor Wu wondered if that was why his son had turned out the way he was. At that thought, he glanced at Gao, who took the hint and left the room. Concubine Oriole was slipping in and out of consciousness. She had lost all hope. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I don't want to die. Brother, help me. But Zhuo Qingwan had been so certain that she would die. Concubine Oriole regretted her decision. Feng Wu had said that she could keep both her and her son alive, but she chose Zhuo Qingwan instead. In the end, Concubine Oriole was abandoned. She wondered if things would have been different if she had chosen Feng Wu. Gao soon came back. He was on his own. Zhuo Qingwan smiled. She didn't believe that Feng Wu would return. Why should she come back if she couldn't save anyone? The Empress Dowager snorted. I've never met such an arrogant girl before. Never. She decided that Feng Wu wasn't good enough to be her maid, let alone her grandson's wife. Gao had a small bottle in his hands, and he hurried toward the delivery room. Isn't the girl coming? Emperor Wu frowned. He understood that she was upset. She had just been told off, but he didn't like it when she put on airs. Gao nodded. Your Majesty, I found Miss Feng Wu in the kitchen, and she was pouring this medicine into the bottle when I found her. She said that if concubine Oriole drinks this, she might still have a chance. Emperor Wu said, Hurry up then. Concubine Oriole didn't like the idea. Feng Wu doesn't like me. She wants me dead. Emperor Wu scolded her. If she meant you harm, she didn't need to come here at all. She could have just let you die on your own. Do you know how hard it is to get her help? Concubine Oriole was already very weak, and she gave in when Emperor Wu scolded her. She took the bottle and drank the medicine. Gao said, Miss Feng Wu said that she wouldn't come here. As for concubine Oriole's belly, Master Chu can sew it up with the method she taught him. Chapter 2504, Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 3. Chapter 2504, Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 3. Master Chu asked excitedly, What are the chances of saving her? Concubine Oriole stared at Gao. Gao imitated Feng Wu and said indifferently, If concubine Oriole cooperates, there's an 80% chance that she'll live. 80%. Concubine Oriole was thrilled. But she wasn't convinced because Zhuo Qingwan had said that she was going to die. Emperor Wu had always trusted Feng Wu, so he urged concubine Oriole, just drink it. Gao then helped concubine Oriole take the medicine while Master Chu sutured her stomach. The door to the delivery room was open. Everyone outside heard the conversation. All eyes were on Zhuo Qingwan, since she had been so certain that there was no point trying to save concubine Oriole. She had given up on concubine Oriole. The Empress Dowager looked at Zhuo Qingwan suspiciously. Is Feng Wu really a better physician than you are? At her age, she needed a physician that could treat her effectively around the clock. Because of that, the Empress Dowager felt that she tolerated Feng Wu enough. If she could find someone better, however, of course, she would choose that person over Feng Wu. Zhuo Qingwan smiled and said, Concubine Oriole is beyond saving. Empress Dugu chimed in, Your Majesty, concubine Oriole is like a sister to me, and Qingwan is my niece. If there was a way to save concubine Oriole, I'm sure Qingwan would have done everything she could. However, concubine Oriole's condition is simply too dire. Even Firmament Palace can't save her. Childbirth is so challenging for women. The Empress Dowager looked less displeased, but she still said, But Feng Wu said she could treat Oriole. Empress Dugu said, If she could, she wouldn't have left so quickly. Your Majesty, talk is cheap. The Empress Dowager agreed with her. Empress Dugu went on, If Feng Wu really is that good, she would have cured Bao Er already. Because Jun Linyuan cared about Bao Air, the Empress Dowager liked the girl as well. She nodded when Empress Dugu mentioned her. Speaking of Bao Air, Empress Dugu glanced at Zhuo Qingwan. Zhuo Qingwan nodded. She had felt humiliated when she tried to enrage Jun Linyuan with the news that Feng Wu had stolen the immortal spiritual fruit, and she wanted to get back at Feng Wu. Although Feng Sun and the Crown Prince had forgiven Feng Wu, what about the Empress Dowager? What would she think? Therefore, Zhuo Qingwan had shared that information with Mrs. Zhuo before she came to the palace. Wah, Mrs. Zhuo was so excited that she immediately told Empress Dugu. Empress Dugu was equally excited, and they began to talk about Bao Air. After getting Zhuo Qingwan's permission, Empress Dugu was about to tell the Empress Dowager what Feng Wu had done. But before she could say anything, she heard Emperor Wu's excited voice. Oriole, you're awake. How do you feel? Master Chu, come here. She looks much better now. Emperor Wu seldom sounded so excited. Empress Dugu's stomach lurched. Chapter 2505, Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 4. Chapter 2505, Zhuo Qingwan's Failure 4. Empress Dugu involuntarily looked at Zhuo Qingwan. Zhuo Qingwan shook her head to tell the Empress to stay calm. Empress Dugu trusted Zhuo Qingwan, so she stopped fidgeting. But soon, they heard Master Chu's voice. Concubine Oriole's pulse is getting stronger, and the toxin is leaving her system. Your Majesty, Concubine Oriole is getting better. That's great. Emperor Wu was excited. Feng Wu is as impressive as she's said to be. I did the right thing to trust her. This is great news. Concubine Oriole was equally excited. She sat up and wept. Your Majesty, am I going to live? Emperor Wu held her shoulders and nodded. I told you that Xiao Wu would save you. She didn't even need to come here. Her medicine alone has cured you. Thinking back to what had happened, Concubine Oriole burst into tears. Your Majesty, I really thought I was going to die. Zhuo Qingwan said so herself, and she told Master Chu not to help me. Her accusation was very effective. She wrapped her arms around Emperor Wu's waist and cried at the top of her lungs. Outside, Zhuo Qingwan didn't know what to say. Her face was scarlet red with rage. She had to clench her fist to stop herself from losing control. That woman, how dare she accuse me like that? While she was thinking that, the Empress Dowager was already walking toward the delivery room. She stopped at the door and asked, Is Concubine Oriole all right now? Emperor Wu said, Yes, her condition has stabilized and her pulse is strong. If everything goes as planned, she'll live. The Empress Dowager nodded. If she were given the choice, she didn't want Concubine Oriole to die. After all, this was the Empress Dowager's palace, and she didn't want to have a dead person here. However, she turned around and glared at Zhuo Qingwan. Did you tell Concubine Oriole that she was beyond saving? Zhuo Qingwan was furious. She had never been questioned like this before. The Empress Dowager stared at her. Answer. Me. How dare this old hag talk to me like this? Zhuo Qingwan was furious. She looked at her hands. One strike, and she could ruin the Empress Dowager's face. This old woman has no right to scold me. The Empress Dowager said, For a moment, I really thought that you were a better physician than Feng Wu. But you were just bragging. Gosh, that was harsh. It was worse than slapping Zhuo Qingwan. How humiliating. Zhuo Qingwan was so embarrassed. Empress Dugu glanced at Zhuo Qingwan. She knew that the proud girl wouldn't take the criticism well. Zhuo Qingwan wanted to scream. She recalled how Feng Wu had reacted a moment ago. When the Empress Dowager scolded Feng Wu, she promptly left without any hesitation. The Empress Dowager had been furious. However, Emperor Wu still liked Feng Wu, and there was nothing the Empress Dowager could do. Zhuo Qingwan realized that she envied Feng Wu. Chapter 2506, Zhuo Qingwan Panics. Chapter 2506, Zhuo Qingwan Panics. The Empress Dowager ignored Zhuo Qingwan's embarrassment and kept staring at her. Watching Wan was so furious that she wanted to scratch the old lady's eyes out. But she calmed down in the end and told herself, Watching Wan, you have the true phoenix blood, and you go to marry Junlin Yuan. You'll be the winner in the end. The thought finally made Watching Wan control her temper. She said indifferently, Concubine Oriol's condition is quite complicated, and she can't be cured so easily. Plenty of medicine can create the illusion of the patient becoming better before their condition worsens again. An illusion? The Empress Dowager had almost given up on Zhuo Qingwan, but she was shocked when she heard Zhuo Qingwan's diagnosis. Zhuo Qingwan said, That's right. The patient will look fine for a short period of time, but they'll quickly weaken and die. That was the only possibility Zhuo Qingwan could think of, because that was what she would make happen. Hence, she reached that conclusion. The Empress Dowager asked suspiciously, Are you sure? Zhuo Qingwan said, It's very possible. N.S. The Empress Dowager asked, How are you going to prove it? Zhuo Qingwan smiled. That's easy. Let me check Concubine Oriol's pulse. She was so certain that even Emperor Wu believed her. Concubine Oriol had been very cheerful, but her stomach lurched when she heard that. She gave Emperor Wu a pleading look. The Empress Dowager said, Check Concubine Oriol's pulse, then. At the end of the day, the Empress Dowager still cared about herself more. If Zhuo Qingwan really was a better physician, the Empress Dowager wouldn't need to tolerate Fengwu anymore. The servants carried Concubine Oriol out of the delivery room. Sinang Palace was the Empress Dowager's residence, and Concubine Oriol couldn't stay here forever. Concubine Oriol gave Zhuo Qingwan her hand, but she was on guard. She had grown to trust Fengwu more than Zhuo Qingwan. When Zhuo Qingwan checked Concubine Oriol's pulse, she was so astonished that her fingers trembled a little. What the heck? Although Concubine Oriol's pulse was weaker than a healthy person's, it was within the normal range. The undead insect was supposed to turn into a potent toxin when it was destroyed, but Concubine Oriol showed no sign of having been poisoned. How could this be? Had someone neutralized the poison already? Was it Fengwu? What did you give her? Show me the bottle, Zhuo Qingwan said to Master Chu. Master Chu asked, Miss Zhuo, how is Concubine Oriol doing? Zhuo Qingwan wanted to say that Concubine Oriol was going to die, but that would make her a liar. She wanted to poison Concubine Oriol again, but to her frustration, when she tried to put another undead insect inside Concubine Oriol, the insect wouldn't go in. Fearing that the insect would be spotted, Zhuo Qingwan had to retrieve it. Not only wouldn't the undead insect go inside Concubine Oriol, it also seemed frightened. What was it afraid of? The first one had gone in just fine. Zhuo Qingwan panicked a little. The undead insect was her secret weapon, and she had defeated many enemies with it. But now, Chapter 25:07, Humiliated Again. Chapter 25:07, Humiliated Again. Naturally, Master Chu was on Fengwu's side. He asked Zhuo Qingwan, Miss Zhuo, what do you think of Concubine Oriol's condition? Before Zhuo Qingwan could answer, Master Chu said, Master Bai and I have examined Concubine Oriol already. She's doing fine. What do you think? Zhuo Qingwan didn't know what to say. Her face was livid. She was furious that Concubine Oriol was doing very well. Moreover, when she tried to poison Concubine Oriol again, the undead insect kept running away. Master Chu wouldn't let Zhuo Qingwan off the hook. Emperor Wu realized it as well and joined in. Do you think there's something wrong with Concubine Oriol? Zhuo Qingwan shook her head. Emperor Wu asked, Do you think there's something wrong with Fengwu's treatment then? Zhuo Qingwan was filled with rage, but she had no choice but to shake her head again. Emperor Wu said, In that case, let go. You're keeping Concubine Oriol from getting her. Rest. With a wave of his hand, the servants carried Concubine Oriol back to her own palace. What Zhuo Qingwan failed to notice was Concubine Oriol glaring at her as if they were enemies. Zhuo Qingwan had tried to kill her. Concubine Oriol had noticed it. When Zhuo Qingwan checked her pulse, she had tried to plant an insect in her. It was tinier than a sesame seed, and Zhuo Qingwan had hidden it in her nail. No one else had noticed. But concubine Oriole had almost died tonight, so she was more careful than everyone else. Zhuo Qingwan had given up on her, but she was saved by Feng Wu's potion. After that, concubine Oriole began to suspect Zhuo Qingwan. She tried to recall the moment she fell, and she seemed to remember a force coming from Zhuo Qingwan's direction. Now, Zhuo Qingwan had tried to put an insect in her. Concubine Oriole hated Zhuo Qingwan to the bone, but Zhuo Qingwan still knew nothing of it. Or maybe she did know, but she simply didn't care. To her, concubine Oriole wasn't worth her concern. Concubine Oriole sat up in bed and told a maid, "Fetch me some paper." She was going to write to her brother to tell him that if something happened to her son, Zhuo Qingwan was the culprit. Zhuo Qingwan was helping Empress Dugu and tried to kill me. Empress Dugu, I've done everything for you. When His Majesty came to visit me, I persuaded him to go to your palace instead. However, you want to kill me. Concubine Oriole now hated both Zhuo Qingwan and Empress Dugu. Those two women would never have thought that the incident today would bring them so much trouble in the future. Zhuo Qingwan was cornered by Emperor Wu. Emperor Wu said, "It was a life and death situation. If you can't do it, just say so. There's always someone better out there." He walked away after that, displeased by Zhuo Qingwan's dark face. Empress Dugu panicked. She knew that if she let Emperor Wu leave like that, he would never like Zhuo Qingwan again. She had to think of something to distract him. Chapter 25:08 The First Worshipper. Chapter 25:08 The First Worshipper. Empress Dugu said, "Your Majesty." Emperor Wu was going to leave, but he stopped when he heard his wife's call. "Your Majesty, it's not like that. We don't know what concubine Oriole's condition will be like after this, or if Feng Wu's treatment will definitely work. Are you hoping that concubine Oriole won't be cured?" Emperor Wu frowned. "Of course not." Empress Dugu shook her head and said loudly, "Your Majesty, I'm only saying that Qingwan may be as good a physician as Feng Wu." Emperor Wu smiled a little. "I can make my own decision." He thought, "I have eyes. I don't need you to tell me who's a better physician." He turned away from her. Empress Dugu panicked. She knew that the emperor was convinced that Feng Wu was better. "Your Majesty, Qingwan was the first worshipper of the year, and Master Linghu called her a blessed child. Don't you trust Master Linghu?" Empress Dugu asked. Hearing that, the Empress Dowager's eyes lit up. Empress Dugu had mentioned it before. Now that she brought it up again, the Empress Dowager was reminded of this piece of important information. "That's right. Master Linghu said so." Empress Dugu said, "Your Majesty, Master Linghu made her the first worshipper of the year. She would be the ideal wife for any family." The Empress Dowager nodded to herself. She liked the idea of the blessed child. It would certainly benefit her grandson. Empress Dugu was thrilled when she saw the Empress Dowager nod. It seemed that being the first worshipper was enough to cancel out the negative effect of not curing concubine Oriole. Nice. But when she turned to Emperor Wu, she saw something unexpected. He was sneering as if he knew something. Empress Dugu's stomach lurched. Emperor Wu turned to Zhuo Qingwan. "Why did I hear that Feng Wu was the first worshipper?" Zhuo Qingwan went pale. Why was everyone talking about Feng Wu? Why was couldn't she just disappear? She took a deep breath and was about to answer when Emperor Wu said, "I went to Wandering Temple today to pray for the baby." "Miss Zhuo, were you really the first worshipper at Wandering Temple this year?" Zhuo Qingwan didn't know what to say. Empress Dugu panicked. Zhuo Qingwan flushed and said indifferently, "My master is Master Linghu's friend, and I had the honor to meet Master Linghu the other day. I think Master Linghu was only wishing me good luck when he called me a blessed child." She tried to talk her way out of the awkward situation. But the Empress Dowager wouldn't let her because she felt that her chance had been taken away. Were you not the first worshipper? Zhuo Wan shook her head. My family was the first to worship at Guangyuan Temple. Guangyuan Temple was much bigger in size, but Wandering Temple was more famous because of Master Linghu. Hence, Guangyuan Temple was only the second largest temple in the empire. The Empress Dowager glared at Zhuo Wan. Chapter 2509, Immortal Spiritual Fruit. Chapter 2509, Immortal Spiritual Fruit. The Empress Dowager wanted to call Zhuo Wan a liar, but the girl had indeed been the first worshipper, only that it was at Guangyuan Temple. And she had indeed met Master Linghu before, and the master had blessed her out of kindness. Seeing that the crisis was almost over, Empress Dugu changed the subject. She knew that the Empress Dowager was angry, and the old lady never forgave those who wronged her. She wouldn't remember whoever had been kind to her, but if someone offended her in the slightest way, she would hold a grudge against them forever. To distract her, there was only one way. Empress Dugu knew that she had to make Feng Wu sound 100 times worse than Zhuo Wan. That way, the Empress Dowager would shift her hatred to Feng Wu. Empress Dugu said, "Speaking of Miss Feng Wu, I heard something recently. I don't know if it's my place to say it." Emperor Wu said, "Then don't say it." He knew that Empress Dugu wouldn't say anything nice about Feng Wu. Empress Dugu mumbled, "But it has something to do with concubine Oriole and Princess Bao. I think I should share the information." Cut to the chase. The Empress Dowager was impatient. Empress Dugu said, "A year ago, we received information about the immortal spiritual fruit from Northern Border City, and His Royal Highness went there immediately." She stole a glance at the Empress Dowager. As expected, the Empress Dowager listened carefully when Jun Linyuan was mentioned. Empress Dugu knew what the old lady wanted to hear. When His Royal Highness arrived at Northern Border City, Yuminji of the Dark Dynasty was there as well. His Royal Highness went through much peril to obtain the fruit. The Empress Dowager frowned. However, someone stole that immortal spiritual fruit from His Royal Highness, said Empress Dugu. What? The Empress Dowager smacked the table. Who was it? Empress Dugu said. The thief was so cunning that even His Royal Highness was caught off guard. To make it worse, His Royal Highness couldn't find that person afterward. The frustration upset him for a whole year. Find that person and kill them, the Empress Dowager growled. Empress Dugu said, that person is so crafty. If His Royal Highness is surrounded by such people. The Empress Dowager was furious. How dare they get close to Junjun? Jun Linyuan was the only person the Empress Dowager cared for. The boy had never failed at anything, and she couldn't believe that someone could do such a thing to him. Your Majesty, that person was in Northern Border City. That person lost the ability to cultivate, but the immortal spiritual fruit enabled them to regain the ability. After that, they made such rapid progress that they're already a level 6 spiritual lord. And that person is so proud just because they have good medical skills. Northern Border City? Regaining cultivation ability? Good medical skills. A name came to the Empress Dowager's mind. Feng Wu. Chapter 2510. It was her. Chapter 2510. It was her. When the Empress Dowager said Feng Wu's name, Zhuo Wan closed her eyes and let out a breath of relief. Her plan had worked. With everything that had happened, Zhuo Wan had to admit that Feng Wu was a formidable enemy. Feng Wu didn't even need to come here in person. She only sent Gao back with a bottle of potion. Not only did it neutralize the poison, it also stopped Zhuo Wan's undead insects. I can't let her win so easily. What will other people think of me? Zhuo Wan was determined to destroy Feng Wu. Feng Wu? It really was her? The Empress Dowager went pale. She stole Junjun's immortal spiritual fruit. She's going to pay for it. Granny Lan's heart sank. She was right. The Empress Dowager smacked the table. Go to the Feng clan and bring that girl here. I'm going to kill her. Zhuo Wan and Empress Dugu exchanged pleased looks. Feng Wu was doomed. Emperor Wu didn't know what to do. He had grown to like Feng Wu a lot and already saw her as his future daughter-in-law. But now, seeing how furious his mother was, Emperor Wu said, "Mother, that might not be what happened." Empress Dugu said, "Your Majesty, it's the truth." Emperor Wu glared at her. "Shut up." Empress Dugu lowered her head. The Empress Dowager glared at Emperor Wu. Not another word. Emperor Wu didn't know what to say. The Empress Dowager said, "What did I tell you? That Feng Wu is trouble. Do you see her face? Her mother is just like that. And so is she." Emperor Wu tried to interrupt. "Mother, Lady Ling is—" The Empress Dowager wouldn't listen. She's been trying to get close to Jun ever since he went to Northern Border City. She's using him. She stole the immortal spiritual fruit that would save Bao Air. Even if you don't care about Bao Air, have you forgotten about your sister? The mention of his sister rendered Emperor Wu speechless. The Empress Dowager ranted, "Do you think the immortal spiritual fruit was what Feng Wu really wanted? That was just the beginning. I don't know what she did, but ever since Jun came back from the north, he hasn't been able to take his eyes off her." Emperor Wu said, "Not at first. I have eyes and I saw it. Jun has been following her wherever she goes." The Empress Dowager shouted. Empress Dugu and Zhuo Qingwan had been smiling, but hearing that, they suddenly felt depressed. The Empress Dowager looked like she was about to explode. "I don't care. Jun can't have that girl around him. She's going to ruin him. Kill her." Emperor Wu couldn't believe how unreasonable his mother was. The Empress Dowager said, "Kill her, or don't ever see me again." Chapter 25:11. Zhuo Qingwan said so. Chapter 25:11. Zhuo Qingwan said so. Emperor Wu didn't know what to say. He began to wonder if he had indulged his mother too much. She had become so arrogant and willful that he couldn't remember what she was like before. He knew that whenever he indulged his women too much, they became unreasonable. Why was his mother giving him the same feeling? Or was he overthinking it? "What are you waiting for? Kill her," the Empress Dowager urged. Zhuo Qingwan and Empress Dugu looked at Emperor Wu. Emperor Wu cleared his throat and put his hands behind his back, as if he was waiting for someone. When Empress Dugu mentioned the immortal spiritual fruit, he knew that his mother would be furious. He couldn't do anything about his mother, but someone else could. Gao had already sent a servant to fetch Jun Linyuan. Emperor Wu thought, it's time to test how much Jun Linyuan cares for Feng Wu. It would take Jun Linyuan at least 15 minutes to come to court from his residence after he received the message. Only 8 minutes had passed so far, so the servant should have just arrived at the crown prince's residence. Emperor Wu thought that he needed to stall for a few more minutes. But he was wrong. He heard footsteps outside. "All hail His Royal Highness." SSSS. Emperor Wu drew in his breath because Jun Linyuan had arrived much sooner than he had expected. Everyone turned in that direction. Zhuo Qingwan had a bad feeling when she heard the announcement. She had only revealed the secret to the Empress Dowager because Jun Linyuan had forgiven Feng Wu. She wanted the Empress Dowager to hate Feng Wu so that she could put some pressure on Jun Linyuan. Jun Linyuan arrived with his usual demeanor. His intimidating aura filled the room. It was an aura which overpowered Emperor Wu's, and he was unapproachable. Everyone in the room could sense his energy. Feng Sun came in after Jun Linyuan. He gave Zhuo Qingwan a taunting look, and Zhuo Qingwan had to pretend that she didn't see it. She had a feeling that she was going to be humiliated again. She tried to convince herself that it wasn't going to happen. Jun. The Empress Dowager was excited to see Jun Linyuan. She grabbed his hand and said, Jun, my baby Jun, baby Jun." Feng Sun wanted to laugh, but he forced himself to keep a straight face. Boss Jun would kill him if he laughed. Jun Linyuan frowned and said coldly, "Grandmother." He had talked to the Empress Dowager twice about the way she addressed him. His tone reminded the Empress Dowager of their conversation, so she took his hand and said obsequiously, Sure, I won't call you that. But you've been so careless. How could you let someone trick you like that? If Zhuo Qingwan hadn't told me, I would never have known so many things. Zhuo Qingwan glared at the Empress Dowager. How could she say that? To make herself seem a neutral party, Zhuo Qingwan had told the whole thing to Empress Dugu, who had then told the Empress Dowager. Why would the Empress Dowager blame everything on her? You're ruining my reputation, you old hag. Chapter 25:12. He's pleased. Chapter 25:12. He's pleased. Zhuo Qingwan was so furious that she wanted to slap the Empress Dowager. But the Empress Dowager didn't know that. She was holding Jun Linyuan's hand and complaining. Jun Linyuan, that Feng Wu is so evil. She's been using you the whole time. Jun Linyuan wanted to retort, but the agitated Empress Dowager wouldn't let him. Jun, shall we kill her? Kill her. Jun Linyuan's eyes glinted coldly when he heard those words. The Empress Dowager was chilled to the bone, and her stomach lurched. She felt as if she was being dragged into an abyss. She was horrified. Jun Linyuan calmed down and said, I know what she did. He knew. Everyone stared at Jun Linyuan in disbelief. Why didn't he kill Feng Wu then? Zhuo Qingwan took a deep breath. She already knew that it was impossible to make Jun Linyuan get angry at Feng Wu. She only hoped that he wouldn't blame her for telling the Empress Dowager. The Empress Dowager stared at Jun Linyuan. You knew? Then why didn't you kill her? She stole Bao Er's immortal spiritual fruit. She couldn't understand why the boy wouldn't kill the person who deserved to die. Jun Linyuan gave her a warning look and said coldly, I'm not killing her. The Empress Dowager was disappointed. The boy had never given her that look before. She said, but she... Jun Linyuan waved her off. She said she would treat Bao Er. The Empress Dowager asked, what if she can't cure Bao Er? All eyes were on Jun Linyuan. They all wondered the same thing. What if Feng Wu couldn't cure Bao Er? Her condition was so severe that even Master Ling Hu couldn't do much about it. Zhuo Qingwan, who had wanted to leave, also stopped and looked at Jun Linyuan. What if Feng Wu couldn't cure Bao Er? His Royal Highness would have to kill her then, right? However, the Crown Prince's answer surprised everyone. If she can't cure Bao Er, she'll use herself as compensation. Feng Sun didn't want to laugh, but he couldn't help it. He had never seen the Crown Prince lie like that. But he was the only one laughing. The other people were all astonished. Feng Wu would be the compensation. How could that happen? That was preposterous. Zhuo Qingwan looked at Jun Linyuan and saw the pleased look on his face. Why was he so pleased? Zhuo Qingwan was so shocked that her mind went blank. No, I won't admit it. I'll never admit that His Royal Highness is in love with Feng Wu. Never. Zhuo Qingwan put a hand on her chest, and the dull pain made her want to cry. His Royal Highness must be in love with Feng Wu's good looks. That's right. It's only her looks that he's into. The Empress Dowager was almost as furious as Zhuo Qingwan was. Chapter 25:13. It's not your call. Chapter 25:13. It's not your call. Somehow, the Empress Dowager felt as if her dear grandson was being taken away from her. She grabbed Jun Linyuan's hand and shook her head. Jun, we can't have her. She'll bring you so much trouble. She was certain that Feng Wu was using Jun Linyuan, as she couldn't wait for Feng Wu to disappear. There was no way she would let Feng Wu anywhere near her grandson. But the Crown Prince, he looked at the Empress Dowager and made an announcement. He said calmly, it's not your call. Someone chuckled. This time, it was Emperor Wu. He feared that his mother would hear her, so he quickly turned to the other side. The Empress Dowager had been bullying him all this time, but now she couldn't do anything to Jun Linyuan. The Empress Dowager was so shocked. She didn't know what to say. She stared at Jun Linyuan, but no words would come out of her mouth. Jun Linyuan then turned around and glared at Zhuo Qingwan. Don't come to court anymore. He stopped Zhuo Qingwan from trying to win over the Empress Dowager. Zhuo Qingwan felt as if she had been slapped. I wasn't the one who told the Empress Dowager, she tried to explain. But she was talking to the Crown Prince. He was Jun Linyuan. He didn't listen to excuses. That was, apart from Feng Wu's excuses. He looked at Zhuo Qingyuan as if she were a total stranger. Zhuo Qingyuan's heart sank. Jun Linyuan left before she could say another word. He walked away just like that. As soon as he was gone, the air didn't feel so frigid anymore. Jun Wuxia was the first to react. She glared at Zhuo Qingyuan. Didn't you say that my brother is madly in love with you? Does it look like he's infatuated? Empress Dugu wanted to smack Jun Wuxia. Why would she say such a thing? However, Empress Dugu's attitude towards Zhuo Qingyuan had also changed. She thought highly of Zhuo Qingyuan because, apart from being the sacred lady of Firmament Palace and having the true phoenix blood, the crown prince was also supposed to be madly in love with her. Such humiliation. Zhuo Qingyuan swayed and fell to the floor. She had fainted. Qingyuan, Mrs. Zhuo, and Empress Dugu both rushed to her side. All people sympathized with the weak. If Zhuo Qingyuan had stormed off, no one would be impressed, but now that she had passed out, people felt sorry for her. The Empress Dowager hated Feng Wu so much that she was almost out of her mind. An enemy's enemy was a friend. Therefore, she liked Zhuo Qingyuan very much now. Master Chu, do something, the Empress Dowager shouted at Master Chu. Master Chu rubbed his nose. Poor Feng Wu. She wasn't even here, but the Empress Dowager hated her so much. The incident was kept a secret from many people, but Feng Wu wasn't just anyone. Feng Sun saw everything. In Fallen Star Yard, Xiao Wu, listen to me. It was hilarious. Chapter 25:14, How Troublesome. Chapter 25:14, How Troublesome. Feng Sun went all the way to Fallen Star Yard to tell Feng Wu what happened. Can you imagine? When the Empress Dowager said that it was Zhuo Qingyuan who told her, Zhuo Qingyuan looked like she wanted to kill someone. And when Boss Jun said that you're going to make yourself the compensation, the Empress Dowager and Zhuo Qingyuan looked like they had seen a ghost. Zhuo Qingyuan thought she could use that piece of information against you, but she failed. It was hilarious. Feng Wu rested her face on her hands and looked at Feng Sun curiously. Feng Wu asked, did His Royal Highness really humiliate Zhuo Qingyuan in front of so many people? Feng Sun nodded. Yes, he did. Boss Jun doesn't care how the Empress Dowager feels, let alone Zhuo Qingyuan. The most ridiculous thing is that Princess Jun Wuxia asked Zhuo Qingyuan afterward, didn't you say that my brother is madly in love with you? Does it look like he's infatuated? Zhuo Qingyuan was so furious that she passed out after that. Feng Sun was laughing, but Feng Wu felt troubled. Why is Zhuo Qingyuan so stubborn? Other people would have admitted that Jun Linyuan is in love with me. I should have finished the 11th trial by now. But now she was stuck. Zhuo Qingyuan knew what was going on, but she just wouldn't face the truth. Because of that, Feng Wu couldn't finish the trial. How annoying. But there was something else even more troublesome. That was Jun Linyuan's attitude toward her. She couldn't bring herself to think further and try to convince herself that they were fine being just friends. Feng Sun shook his head. Why was he even telling her all this? He had better things to do. He wanted to show Feng Wu what Boss Jun had done for her. He hoped that those things would move her heart. Feng Sun could see that the girl had hidden her feelings away. Just then, they heard footsteps outside. Chaoga had arrived. There. She handed Feng Wu a letter. What's that? Feng Wu was perplexed. It's the registration letter for Year 4. Chaoga grinned at Feng Wu. I'm in Year 4 as well, and we'll be going together. Feng Wu said, when did you skip Year 3? Chaoga said, when you were obsessing over the crown prince. Feng Wu said, when did I ever do that? Chaoga said, fine, you didn't. You were just competing with Zhuo Qingyuan. Therefore, I took the test on my own, and I passed. I can go to Year 4 with you. Feng Wu shook her head and picked up the letter. She frowned. Tomorrow? Do I have to go? Feng Sun nodded. You do. Normally, the passageway to Year 4 only opens once a month. If you don't go tomorrow, you'll have to wait another month. Chapter 25:15. Who else? Chapter 25:15. Who else? Feng Sun grinned at Feng Wu. Of course, That restriction is only for ordinary people. If Boss June goes with you, that passageway is always open. All the things privilege could do. Feng Wu nodded. I'll go to year 4. That is the War Academy. In the Imperial College, each year was given a different name, and year 4 was the War Academy. Seeing that Feng Wu was going, Feng Sun became serious. Of course, you can go to the War Academy, but once you're there, just be a normal student. Don't get involved in anything else. Feng Wu asked, what do you mean by anything else? Feng Sun said sternly, you're not a student there yet, and there are things you can't be told yet. Once you're officially one of them, you'll know. I can't make an exception for you. Feng Wu's heart sank a little. By the sound of it, things could get quite serious. Feng Sun said, Boss June and I have graduated from year 4, and we can't go back as students. Once you're there, you're on your own. Feng Wu nodded. Yup. Feng Sun said, what I can tell you is that the students, they're all very aggressive. They love fighting. If someone picks on you, you can go to Chen Ziyun for help. He's the president of the Martial Arts Society. But don't get too close to him. In fact, don't go to him unless it's really necessary. Feng Wu was intrigued. Who was this Chen Ziyun, and why would he have such an effect on Feng Sun? And don't take part in their wars, said Feng Sun. No matter how persuasive they are, don't get involved. Wars? Feng Wu was perplexed. What wars? Feng Sun said sternly. I can't tell you more. I'm already telling you too much. Just keep in mind, don't join them. Feng Wu said, all right. She was more concerned about her tasks. The 11th trial still wasn't finished, and there was also the bonus task regarding Bao Air. She knew that things wouldn't always turn out the way she wanted. Sometimes it was up to fate. Remember to ask around about the immortal spiritual fruit for me, she reminded Feng Sun. Feng Sun nodded. Feng Wu wasn't going to stay in year 4 for too long. The 12 trials of love and Bao Air were the top priority. She would graduate from the War Academy in a month. Because she wouldn't be home for a month, she made sure that everything was covered. She felt quite safe now that 2 elders had become her friends and that the White Fairy was guarding Fallen Star Yard. The next day, Feng Wu and Chaoga went to the assembly hall of the War Academy. The location surprised both of them, because it was a gambling house. It was Lucky House, the biggest gambling house in the Empire. They followed the winding corridor and arrived at a courtyard. 2 people were already waiting there. Feng Wu recognized them right away. They weren't exactly friends. One was Gu Xingyuan, the 3rd son of the Gu family. The other one was Chu Junying, the girl who had a crush on Gu Xingyuan. Feng Wu wondered why Gu Xingyuan was here, since she didn't think that he was capable enough. Chapter 25:16 Enemies 1. Chapter 25:16 Enemies 1. And how did Chu Junying get in? Hadn't the Gu family been arrested for treason? Why was Gu Xingyuan still a free man? Feng Wu wondered if she had missed something. She glanced at them again. Level 6 spiritual lords. Both Gu Xingyuan and Chu Junying had become level 6 spiritual lords. A teacher was already there to greet them. Feng Wu heard Gu Xingyuan address him as Mr. Han. Mr. Han was kind to Gu Xingyuan, but the look he gave Feng Wu wasn't very friendly. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Gu Xingyuan's eyes were filled with hatred when he looked at Feng Wu. But he soon looked away. Feng Wu knew that he was only temporarily hiding his hatred, which had to be gnawing at his heart now. She didn't dwell on it. She was a level 9 spiritual lord and far more advanced than he was. Mr. Han, is everyone here? Can we leave now? Gu Xingyuan asked calmly, as if he didn't see Feng Wu. Mr. Han shook his head. Were more people coming? Just then, there were footsteps outside. Everyone turned around. Miss Qingwan. Chu Junying cried out in surprise. She had met Zhuo Qingwan before and was a big fan. Finding Zhuo Qingwan here was a very big surprise. Gu Xingyuan was equally amazed. Mr. Han had remained nonchalant until Zhuo Qingwan showed up. He quickly walked up to her and greeted her respectfully. Miss Qingwan, you're finally here. Please. He then blocked Feng Wu's way. A portal opened. In Feng Wu's eyes, it looked a lot like an elevator. Chowga was displeased when Mr. Han got in the way. Zhuo Qingwan had been trying to undermine Feng Wu recently, but Feng Wu had managed to defuse all the crises. Duan Chowga despised Wu Qingwan for what she had done. However, the sacred lady still had a lot of fans. We got here first. We should go in before her. Chowga was indignant that Xiaowu had to make way for this fake fairy. Zhuo Qingwan couldn't be bothered to look at Chowga or Feng Wu. It was as if her recent failures never existed. She was back to being the arrogant sacred lady. Chowga was furious. What was that attitude? Mr. Han glanced at Chowga and said, "Who gave you permission to speak?" Duan Chowga stared in shocked silence. Mr. Han then bowed and made an inviting gesture to Zhuo Qingwan. He said obsequiously, "This way, please, Miss Qingwan." Zhuo Qingwan then walked through the portal. Chowga stomped her foot. Feng Wu glanced at her. "Calm down," Chowga said. "Who does she think she is? Did you see how she looked at you?" The portal was about to close. "Mr. Han asked impatiently, "Are you going in or not?" Chapter 25:17 Enemies 2. Chapter 25:17 Enemies 2. Chowga said, "We're in dash." But Feng Wu dragged her through the portal. Chowga glared at her, wondering why they had to put up with these people. Feng Wu glanced at her. Chowga needed to grow up. Right now, she would explode at the slightest provocation, which wasn't a good thing. She had to control her temper. Otherwise, it would become her downfall one day. In the tiny space inside the portal, Gu Xingyuan glared at Feng Wu. If looks could kill, she would already be dead. Feng Wu was the reason he had lost his whole clan. Chu Juning was Gu Xingyuan's girlfriend, and she worshipped Zhuo Qingwan, so she hated Feng Wu even more. Everyone knew of the grudge between Zhuo Qingwan and Feng Wu. It was obvious that Mr. Han was biased towards Zhuo Qingwan. If Feng Wu started a fight here, she would be at a disadvantage. Of course, she was smarter than that. Leading Chowga to a corner, she sat down and started cultivating with her eyes closed. After she closed her eyes, Zhuo Qingwan gave her a resentful glance before looking away. Jun Wuxia had seen through her lie the night before. She was scolded by the Empress Dowager and Emperor Wu before Jun Wuxia scorned her. In the end, she had to pretend to pass out to get away from the palace. After going back home, she really wished she could pass out. She didn't know how to face other people. With Feng Wu still alive, Zhuo Qingwan didn't feel that she could stay in the Imperial capital anymore. Although only a handful of people knew what had happened, Zhuo Qingwan still feared that Feng Wu would spread the news. She had really thought about killing Feng Wu. She had almost reached the Feng clan when she realized that it was a bad idea. She couldn't kill Feng Wu yet, not like this. When she heard that Feng Wu was going to the War Academy, she had an idea. She knew how she could get rid of Feng Wu forever without having to do it herself. That was why Zhuo Qingwan was here. She wanted to see who would be more popular in the War Academy. She wanted to get back at Feng Wu. Ding! Zhuo Qingwan was still lost in thought when the other end of the portal opened. They were in the wild. It was in the middle of a forest. "This is the Thousand Night Forest," said Mr. Han. He stayed close behind Zhuo Qingwan and explained, "The War Academy is right here in this forest. The safety zone is the area in a range of 10 kilometers around the academy. Beyond that, there are all sorts of fierce animals." Feng Sun had explained to Feng Wu before she came here that all students of the War Academy would earn points from killing wild beasts, and their ranking on the billboard would depend on their score. Only people who ranked high on the billboard could apply to graduate. A team was coming back from their hunting trip. There were 4 boys and 1 girl. The boys greeted Mr. Han when they saw him. Mr. Han was in charge of opening the portal, and they all needed to go to him every month if they wanted to go home. Therefore, no one could afford to offend him. Chapter 25:18 The Prettiest Girl. Chapter 25:18 The Prettiest Girl. One of the boys couldn't help but notice Zhuo Qingwan. "What a pretty girl. Mr. Han, Who do we have here? I don't think Shan Jingfei will be the prettiest girl in our year anymore. Ling Hao, this is Miss Zhua Qingwan, the sacred lady of Firmament Palace. Mr. Han liked Ling Hao, so he gave the student a reminder, fearing that he might offend the sacred lady unknowingly. Zhua Qingwan, the sacred lady? Ling Hao recalled the name and cried out, as in the one with the true phoenix blood. Mr. Han nodded. Holy crap, she's so famous. Ling Hao smiled obsequiously. Miss Qingwan, I'm... However, Zhua Qingwan walked right past him before he could finish his sentence. She ignored him completely. Mr. Han left with Zhua Qingwan as if he was her servant. Ling had already stuck out his hand, and he was embarrassed. Ha 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 dash. Ling Hao's team consisted of 5 people. However, the other 4 weren't as outgoing as Ling Hao, so they didn't try to approach her. But they didn't expect Zhua Qingwan to be so arrogant. Seeing the look on Ling Hao's face, his friends burst out laughing. Because it came from a girl, the teammates didn't think much of it. Ling Hao cleared his throat and scratched his head awkwardly. All pretty girls are proud. It's normal. Zhua Qingwan was indeed a pretty girl. As soon as she showed up, the boys in the academy went crazy. But just when they thought that Zhua Qingwan was going to be the prettiest girl in the academy, Ling Hao spotted Feng Wu. And when he saw her, he felt his blood freeze. He couldn't look away. What a beautiful girl. She had translucent skin and exquisite features. He had never seen anyone like her before. Zhua Qingwan might be the prettiest girl in the academy, but this girl was on a whole other level. No one could compete with her. Miss Qingwan was pretty in an ordinary way, but this girl almost seemed to belong to another world. Who are you? Ling Hao could barely form a coherent sentence. When he saw Zhua Qingwan, he had tried to shake her hand, but now he was almost too scared to talk to this girl. Feng Wu beamed at him. I'm Feng Wu, and this is Duan Chaoga. We're new here. You're Ling Hao, right? I heard Mr. Han call you that. Ling Hao was amazed. After seeing how arrogant Zhua Qingwan was, he thought that this girl would be 10 times prouder. To his surprise, however, she was so easygoing. Chapter 2519, Amazing Girl. Chapter 2519, Amazing Girl. Ling Hao's friends were as shocked as he was. She was pretty, gentle, and approachable. What an angel! The War Academy had very few girls, and even less pretty ones. Having Feng Wu here was a miracle. Xiao Xiao stared at Feng Wu and nudged Ling Hao with his elbow. Introduce us, you idiot. Ling Hao snorted. When Zhua Qingwan ignored him, they laughed so hard. Now they wanted his help. Ling Hao was honored to know such a pretty girl, so he introduced his friends. This is Xiao Xiao, our team leader. He's into girls. Xiao Xiao grinned at Feng Wu while he stomped on Ling Hao's foot. Shut up. Ling Hao's cheek twitched. That hurt. He went on. This is Wang Ji, the second in command. He's very smart and likes deducing things. I'm third. Fourth is Yihan. She's a great healer. And fifth is Chung Fong. Look, he's 2 meters tall and is almost a human shield. Feng Wu noticed that the 4 boys were very friendly, but Yihan was practically hostile toward her. She didn't know what to say. We're all women natural enemies. But Feng Wu didn't care. With how she looked, she was used to being targeted by other girls. Just then, they heard a loud whistle. The academy is calling us to assemble. Ling Hao found it strange. They usually won't interrupt our cultivation like this. What's going on? Let's go back now, Yihan urged him. That way, she could get away from Feng Wu. Ling Hao nodded. Sure, Miss Feng Wu, you're one of us now, and you need to go to that assembly as well. Come with us. Yihan was infuriated, but she couldn't let the others see it and could only sulk on her own. They still had 15 minutes left when they got back, so Ling Hao took Feng Wu and Chaoga to complete their registration. You'll visit the place a lot in the future, Ling Hao told them. After our hunting trips, you have to come here to exchange the animals for points. Hey Wang, wake up. You have guests. Ling Hao seemed to get along with everyone. He walked up to the counter and tapped the countertop. Wang had dozed off. He saw 3 people standing in front of him. All 4 boys had offered to walk with Feng Wu, but Feng Wu found it too over the top and suggested that she could go on her own. However, the team insisted that one of them go with her. After a round of paper, rock, and scissors, Ling Hao won. "Since when were you so lucky? Who's the pretty girl?" Wang yawned and glanced at Ling Hao. Ling Hao chuckled. "She's a new student. Please hurry up. After the registration, we need to go to the assembly. Did you hear the whistle? I need your exam results for year 3, Wang said to Feng Wu. Ling Hao looked away. He decided that she was too pretty to be a serious cultivator and didn't want to see her grades because they wouldn't be any good. He didn't want to embarrass her. Chapter 25-20, First Day. Chapter 25-20, First Day. Ling Hao looked away so that he wouldn't embarrass Feng Wu. As a result, he didn't see the look on Wang's face when he saw Feng Wu's grades. People here in the War Academy were sealed off from the outside world by the forest. They could go home once a month, but could stay no more than 2 days. To accumulate as many points as possible, most students hardly ever went back home. Therefore, they were quite behind on the news outside. Wang's hand trembled a little when he saw Feng Wu's grades. He couldn't believe that such grades existed. He looked from the paper to Feng Wu in amazement, then looked back at the paper again. Feng Wu was perplexed. Is something wrong? Before Wang could answer, Ling Hao interjected. Don't be so strict. 1 point or 2 won't make any difference. Just let her in. Here, I brought you some nice wine. Go away. Wang waved him off. He looked Feng Wu up and down, amazed by how capable this pretty girl was. He put the paper away and took out a booklet. Ling Hao knew that it was time for Feng Wu to choose her room. He immediately said, Wang, are there any 4-bedrooms left? The 6-bed ones aren't as convenient. Look at how pretty Miss Feng Wu is. Someone's bound to get jealous. Wang rolled his eyes at Ling Hao. With Feng Wu's grades, she deserved a room all to herself. However, Feng Wu took Chaoga's hand and said, I want to share a room with her. Chaoga handed over her report card. Wang looked at her grades. Ling Hao leaned over to take a look as well. You barely passed the exam. That was close. You could have been rejected. How lucky. Ling Hao patted Chaoga's shoulder in a brotherly manner. Chaoga said, I made it from year 1 to year 4 within a year, and you call me lucky. What? From year 1 to year 4 in 1 year? You must be joking. Ling Hao couldn't believe it. He grabbed the report card from Wang, and his eyes widened when he saw the content. Gosh, you really skipped year 2 and year 3. Are you even human? He had thought that Chaoga was a foil for Feng Wu, but as it turned out, she was a genius herself. Chaoga was very proud. If he's so excited to see my grades, what'll he do when he sees Xiao Wu's? Wang was impressed by Feng Wu's grades, so he was patient enough to explain to them, you're allocated dormitories by your ranking on the billboard. Since you're new, you don't have much choice. Right now, there's only 1 4-bedroom available, and it already has 2 occupants. Feng Wu nodded. That one's fine. Wang quickly completed Feng Wu and Chaoga's registration. They each received a key. Ling Hao looked at the form, and his eyes lit up. You're in the same dorm as Yi Han. Chapter 25-21. Who is Chief Zishuan's junior sister? Chapter 25-21. Who is Chief Zishuan's junior sister? Yi Han. Feng Wu wanted to roll her eyes. Why do you think that was good news? Just then, the assembly bell rang out again. Let's go, Ling Hao urged them. On their way, he told Feng Wu, there are 5 classes in the War Academy, ranging from A to E. The new students are all in Class E, regardless of your previous grades. There you go. He nudged Feng Wu and Chaoga in the right direction. The new students won't be doing anything during this meeting, so just stay put. After this, I'll take you to your room. Soon, Ling Hao and his teammates returned to Class B. Chaoga was amazed. She said to Feng Wu, Ling Hao and his friends are all in Class B. Feng Wu nodded. We'll be in Class B in no time. A girl walked past them at the moment. She glanced at their armbands and smirked. Don't flatter yourselves. Here in the War Academy, All students had an armband that contained their personal information. It also indicated what class they were in. The armbands of Class E had 1 star, and those of Class A had 5 stars. Right now, both Feng Wu and Chaoga only had 1 star. The girl walking past them had 2 stars, indicating that she was from Class D. Wang Junwen. Who are they? Asked a girl named Ding E. Wang Junwen smirked. Just some classy newbies. They said they would be in Class B in no time. How stupid. Ding E looked at Feng Wu and was amazed by her beauty. Meanwhile, she also couldn't help but envy her, so she nodded at her friend. They didn't try to keep their voices down, so both Feng Wu and Chaoga heard them. Feng Wu didn't react, but Chaoga couldn't stand what they said about her friend. But Feng Wu stopped her before she could stand up. They can say whatever they want. The only thing we can control is our own actions. Don't be reckless. Chaoga had no choice but to suppress her anger. They soon found Class C. Feng Wu did a quick head count and saw that there were 1,000 students in her class. It was true that out of the 4 years, the War Academy had the greatest number of students. According to Feng Sun, it was extremely difficult to graduate from year 4. Since Feng Wu and Chaoga were at the end of the line, no one noticed them. At the same time, a woman in a purple dress went up on stage. She was Chief Zixuan, the deputy chief of the year. The War Academy had 1 chief and 2 deputies. The chief was a mystery and hardly ever made a public appearance. Today was no exception. Zixuan was one of the deputies. The other was Gong Sun Mu. Chief Zixuan gave a little speech. She announced that she was going to the Peace Grassland, and her junior sister would be working temporarily as the deputy chief. Her junior sister? Who's that? Chief Zixuan came from Firmament Palace. Does that mean? Chaoga's eyes widened when she saw the person walking up to the stage. Chapter 25-22, Deputy Chief Swa. Chapter 25-22, Deputy Chief Swa. Isn't that? Chaoga stared at the person. Ling Hao and his team members were also astonished. That was the girl who had ignored them. Zhuo Qingwan. It was Zhuo Qingwan. Ling Hao had thought that Zhuo Qingwan was one of the new students, but he couldn't have been any more wrong. She wasn't even a teacher. She was the new deputy chief. What did that mean? That was so scary. Everyone looked at the teenage girl on the stage and was amazed by her ethereal beauty. Their minds were blown. Who's she? Zhuo Qingwan. Who's Zhuo Qingwan? OMG. I know who she is. She's that Zhuo Qingwan. I know her name, but... Wait, it's her. The daughter of the Zhuo family and the sacred lady of Firmament Palace. She has the true phoenix blood. But that's not the most important thing. Rumor is that she's His Royal Highness's fiancée. The Crown Prince's fiancée. Everyone grew excited when they heard the last part. The Crown Prince. Jun Linyuan had been a student of the War Academy once, but he was so outstanding that he became the top student almost right away. Not only that, he also set a record when he graduated. His final score was 100 times higher than the previous record holder. Yes, 100 times. Whatever the previous record holder had achieved, Jun Linyuan achieved 100 times that. That was how incredible he was. The even scarier thing was that he hadn't even exerted his full strength. What was his limit? No one dared to speculate because the answer would only make them lose more hope. When Jun Linyuan's admirers heard that Zhuo Qingwan was his fiancée, their eyes lit up. His Royal Highness's fiancée? She's going to marry him. That's why Chief Zixuan is giving her the job. It's because of His Royal Highness. Of course, everyone knows how His Royal Highness defeated Chief Zixuan with a single strike. Everyone was talking at the same time. The news soon got around, spreading from Class A to Class C. That's bullshit. Chaoga was infuriated. She's His Royal Highness's fiancée. The Crown Prince's fiancée is. Feng Wu stomped on her foot before she could go on. Chaoga was confused. Why couldn't she tell the truth? Feng Wu shook her head at Chaoga. Chaoga gave in, but she pointed at Zhuo Qingwan and said, "That's a big fat lie. Karma will get her." Chapter 25-23, Deputy Chief's Disciple. Chapter 25-23, Deputy Chief's Disciple. Zhuo Qingwan looked down at the students. None of them were worth her attention, except for one person. When she finally spotted the person at the end of the queue, she smirked a little. She was high up here, while Feng Wu was down there in the crowd. She was the well-respected deputy chief, but Feng Wu was only a new student. She felt that she could kill Feng Wu whenever she felt like it. Zhuo Qingwan didn't try to hide her smirk. Feng Wu met her gaze and didn't look away. Both girls saw the hostility in each other's eyes. Chief Zixuan smiled at Zhuo Qingwan. Qingwan, as the new chief, you're given a privilege. Zhuo Qingwan asked indifferently, "What's that?" Chief Zixuan said, "You can pick any student to be your disciple." Zhuo Qingwan nodded. "And why is that?" Chief Zixuan wanted to roll her eyes at Zhuo Qingwan. Zhuo Qingwan obviously knew the answer to that question. That was so pretentious. Obviously, she wouldn't say that out loud. Zhuo Qingwan was the sacred lady of Firmament Palace and the future wife of the crown prince. Chief Zixuan didn't want to offend her. As a matter of fact, Chief Zixuan was only going to the Peace Grassland because Zhuo Qingwan had requested to replace her as the deputy chief. It was a request that Chief Zixuan couldn't turn down. Everyone knew that the Peace Grassland was very dangerous at the moment, and one could easily die there. Chief Zixuan said, "You can appoint any student here to be your own disciple. In other words, from now on, they'll carry out your orders here in the academy, and at the same time, they can enjoy the resources you provide them." Zhuo Qingwan nodded and frowned a little. "I don't think the students will like that idea." "Of course they will," Chief Zixuan exclaimed. "Everyone dreams of becoming your disciple, right?" The question was for the students. "Yes," the students shouted excitedly. Yes, the students of the War Academy were very proud, but that also depended on the circumstances. When a more powerful and talented person showed up and proved that he or she was beyond their reach, they would immediately revere that person. Zhuo Qingwan made it obvious that she was a spiritual king as soon as she went up to the stage, and the students were impressed. "A spiritual king?" Zhuo Qingwan asked. "Can I pick any one of them?" Chief Zixuan nodded. "Of course. Anyone would jump at that opportunity." Gongshu Mu frowned a little. He found the two women from Firmament Palace too flamboyant. Especially Zhuo Qingwan. If she really was the crown prince's fiancée, she should keep a low profile. He decided that he needed some news from the outside world. Somehow, he felt that many things were going to happen in the academy. Meanwhile, Zhuo Qingwan. Chapter 25-24. Who will Zhuo Qingwan choose? Chapter 25-24. Who will Zhuo Qingwan choose? Zhuo Qingwan looked down at the crowd. Many people were thrilled. There were 5,000 students in total from the 5 classes, and nearly everyone who came to the assembly was looking at Zhuo Qingwan. Less than 100 students of Class A were here today, because most of them were away on assignments. They were all looking forward to the opportunity. Apart from being the sacred lady of Firmament Palace and the current deputy chief of the academy, Zhuo Qingwan also had an important friend, the crown prince. That was what Class A believed. Yang Jianqing thought, "She'll pick me, right? Of all the people here, I have the highest ranking." Ji Rongsha thought, "This is my only chance to get close to His Royal Highness. If I can jump on Zhuo Qingwan's wagon, I'll have a chance to become His Royal Highness's concubine. Please pick me." Her eyes sparkled. And there were many more students who had similar thoughts. If Class A was so excited, imagine what the other 4 classes were feeling. Every chief could only have one disciple. Class E, Sun Jingyu gnashed her teeth. She has the Zhuo family and Firmament Palace behind her. Not only is she the deputy chief now, she's also the crown prince's fiancée. How can someone be so lucky? Sun Jingyu was the class president and had her own small group. One of her friends asked, "Jingyu, do you want to become her disciple?" Sun Jingyu rolled her eyes at the boy named Yuanyu. "Don't you? Can't you see how excited Class A is?" But there's only one place, and it'll never come to our class. Yuan Yu said, Class A is graduating soon. Even the students who can't graduate will go to the Peace Grassland. I don't think they have much of a chance. Sun Jingyu said, even if that's the case, there are 3 classes more advanced than us. We'll be the last group she'll consider. All the students of Class E sighed inwardly. What pity. Sun Jingyu said, don't fidget. We'll have plenty of opportunities when we get into classes A and B, but for now, we're just onlookers. The students were allocated to different classes according to their rankings. Class A stood the closest to the stage. Behind them was Class B. Class E stood the furthest at the back. The students stood in neat rows. Zhuo Qingwan walked off the stage. Class A was thrilled. Yang Jianqing thought, pick me. Ji Rongsha thought, please pick me. It'll change my life forever. But Zhuo Qingwan walked right past Class A. The students of Class A were astonished. Yang Jianqing was speechless. So was Ji Rongsha. They were out. Who is Zhuo Qingwan going to choose? Ji Rongsha clenched her fists and followed Zhuo Qingwan with her eyes. She's reached Class B. Chapter 25-25, Condescending Attitude. Chapter 25-25, Condescending Attitude. Students of Class B were thrilled. Chief Qingwan is here. Since she hadn't chosen a disciple from Class A, she must be considering Class B. Someone in Class B would have a chance to meet the Crown Prince in person. Everyone in Class B stood ramrod straight, trying to show their best selves to Zhuo Qingwan. But to their surprise, Zhuo Qingwan walked past Class B as well. Just like that, all the students were dumbfounded. Was Chief Qingwan going to choose someone from Class C? But Zhuo Qingwan ignored Class C as well. Class D was thrilled now. Holy crap, was it going to be someone from Class D? Wang Junwen and Ding Yi clenched their fists excitedly and wondered if it was going to be them. Class E, Yuan Yu said, Jingyu, look, Chief Qingwan has reached Class D. Sun Jingyu shook her head. Then it has to be someone in Class D. We still won't have a chance. Yuan Yu said, she didn't stop there. She's coming our way. Despite what she said, Sun Jingyu was having butterflies in her stomach. She was right. Zhuo Qingwan was heading for Class C. They were the only class left. It had to be one of them. Gosh, OMG. Chief Qingwan really was going to choose her disciple from Class E. Who would she pick? Who would be the lucky person? Who? Everyone here in the War Academy was an outstanding cultivator. But Zhuo Qingwan would outshine every single one of them because she was the Crown Prince's fiancée. No one knew where that news came from, but everyone was almost immediately convinced. They believed that Zhuo Qingwan was the only girl in the Empire who was good enough for the Crown Prince. Jingyu, look, she's coming our way. Yuan Yu was thrilled. Yuan Yu is a boy. Sun Jingyu also had a female lackey, and her name was Mu Qianqian. She was so excited that she almost fainted. She grabbed Sun Jingyu's hand. Jingyu, it's going to be you. Sun Jingyu feigned a humble tone. Surely not. It'll never be me. Mu Qianqian said, of course it's going to be you. You're the prettiest and most advanced student in our class. All teachers adore you. It's definitely you. Deep down, Sun Jingyu thought the same. Who else could it be? There was no one better than her in this class. But Zhuo Qingwan stopped in front of Feng Wu. She looked condescendingly at Feng Wu. Chapter 25-26, no. Chapter 25-26, no. Zhuo Qingwan spoke in a condescending tone. You then? Those words sounded like a thunderclap to everyone else. Everyone stared at Feng Wu. Who's that girl? She's so pretty. Why haven't I seen her before? Students of other classes also turn around to look at Feng Wu. Yang Jianqing, Ji Rongsha, Ling Hao, Wang Junwen, and Ding, you were all looking at her. Sun Jingyu couldn't look away. Her cheek twitched, and she wanted to kill Feng Wu with her gaze. Who's she? Where did she come from? She shrilled. Both Yuan Yu and Mu Qianqian shook their heads. They had no idea who the pretty girl was. No, calling her pretty was such an understatement. She's Feng Wu, a new student, Guxing Yuan said behind them. His two older brothers were here in the War Academy as well, and Guxing Yi had taken him to see Sun Jingyu after the registration. With Sun Jingyu's help, Guxing Yuan was quickly accepted by the other members of the class. Chu Juning was also there. She was with Guxing Yuan all the time. What's her background? Sun Jingyu asked. Guxing Yuan recalled the incident during Zhuo Qinghuan's birthday and the gift envelopes. He had a feeling that the crown prince was fond of Feng Wu instead of Zhuo Qinghuan, but he would lie to even his mother if it would make Feng Wu's life harder. So he smirked and said, "She's a daughter of the Feng clan. You might have heard her story before. She and Zhuo Qinghuan used to be known as the two genius girls of the Imperial capital, but she became too greedy and destroyed her cultivation ability. She also lost her true phoenix blood. As you can see, Zhuo Qinghuan is the deputy chief now, while one girl was the deputy chief, and the other was only a new student. What a stark contrast." Guxing Yuan didn't try to lower his voice. He wanted as many people to hear him as possible. Soon, the entire class heard it, and the news spread from Class E to Class A. "So it's that Feng Wu. Who's she? I know that name. Her clan has declined. She used to have the true phoenix blood, and she was His Royal Highness's fiancée once, but that engagement was annulled. It's her. That was 5 years ago, right? She used to be a genius as well. I didn't know that she could cultivate again. However, she's nothing compared with Zhuo Qinghuan." Immediately, all eyes were on Feng Wu. Everyone wanted to know her answer. Zhuo Qinghuan smirked at Feng Wu. Even under all the gazes, Feng Wu remained unperturbed. She looked at Zhuo Qinghuan as if she was as ordinary as everyone else. Feng Wu shook her head. No one could believe what they just heard. Chapter 25-27 doubled? I accept. Chapter 25-27 doubled? I accept. Gosh, no. Someone said no to Zhuo Qinghuan. Everyone stared at Feng Wu in disbelief. It had never occurred to them that someone would turn down that honor. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Zhuo Qinghuan smiled. She knew that Feng Wu wouldn't say yes. That was why she had chosen Feng Wu. She wanted Feng Wu to refuse her proposal in front of everyone, so that Feng Wu would turn into a public enemy. She was a deputy chief. What was Feng Wu? She was only a new student. It was obvious which side the students would take. Only idiots would choose Feng Wu's side. After that, everyone in the academy would become Feng Wu's enemy. Her life would be miserable. Just thinking about it excited Zhuo Qinghuan. Of course, she didn't let any of that show. She frowned and looked indignant at being turned down. She didn't need to say anything because someone would speak up for her. Chief Zishuan stepped out. She glanced at Feng Wu and asked, "And you?" She's Feng Wu." Sun Jingyu had heard Guxing Yuan's introduction. She quickly stood behind Chief Zishuan and answered the question. She needed to show where she stood. It was obvious that she was going to be Feng Wu's enemy. Why haven't I heard that name before? Chief Zishuan frowned. Guxing Yuan thought, that's a little fake. You were watching Feng Wu when she took the exam. However, he wasn't going to say anything. The more miserable Feng Wu was, the happier he would be. Sun Jingyu said, "She's new. She only got here today." Chief Zishuan nodded and looked enlightened. She asked Feng Wu, "May I ask why you said no?" Feng Wu said, "Do you need a reason?" Chief Zishuan said, "Of course I do. Your refusal has injured Chief Qinghuan's dignity. You're a mere student of Class E, and we don't permit such behavior." Everyone agreed with that. Feng Wu only glanced at her, but didn't reply. Chief Zishuan was a little surprised by how stubborn she was. If Feng Wu hadn't lost the true phoenix blood, she would have been Zishuan's junior sister. Life was unpredictable. Chief Zishuan sighed inwardly, then turned to Feng Wu. "Refusing the deputy chief will make it much more difficult for you to graduate. The points you need to obtain will be doubled." "Doubled? I accept." Feng Wu nodded. Chief Zishuan smirked. "To graduate, you need to have enough points, and they're very hard to obtain. That's why it's so difficult to graduate. You don't know what you're facing. Chapter 25-28 Authority. Chapter 25-28 Authority. Feng Wu nodded. Chief Zixuan turned to Zhuo Qingwan. To make up for your injured dignity, the points she needs to earn is doubled. We'll call it even then. You still have 2 more chances to pick a disciple. 2 more chances? Zhuo Qingwan smiled a little and asked Feng Wu again, "Will you be my disciple?" What? Everyone was surprised. Seriously? Feng Wu again. Does she know what will happen when Feng Wu says no for a second time? Chief Zixuan hesitated. Qingwan. Zhuo Qingwan asked, "Am I not allowed to pick the same person?" Chief Zixuan said, "You can, but..." She looked at Feng Wu. Feng Wu said, "No." She sounded like she wasn't bothered at all. Gongsun Mu stepped out and reminded her, "Feng Wu, if you refuse her again, the points you need to graduate will be 5 times more than other students. Doubling the points would already make it impossible for her to graduate. What about 5 times? The other students all stared at Feng Wu. They believed that she would change her mind. But Feng Wu only looked at Zhuo Qingwan without saying another word. She had made up her mind. Gongsun Mu couldn't help but remind Feng Wu, "You can't possibly earn so many points." Feng Wu shook her head. "Thank you for your reminder, but I don't care." Gongsun Mu shook his head. "Do you know what will happen if you can't graduate?" Feng Wu asked curiously. "What will happen?" Gongsun Mu smiled bitterly. "You're a student of the War Academy now, so you have the right to know a few things. If you can't graduate, you'll have to join the battle at Peace Grassland." Feng Wu guessed as much. "Are you referring to the war with the Dongsang Kingdom?" Gongsun Mu said, "That's right. It was getting even fiercer, and the empire was losing ground." Of course, Gongsun Mu omitted the last part. Feng Wu said, "I'm all right with that." Gongsun Mu shook his head. Before he could say anything else, Chief Zixuan said, "So be it. Qingwan, you still have 1 more chance." All eyes were on Zhuo Qingwan. Who would she choose now? Surely, not Feng Wu again. That was outrageous because if Feng Wu said no a 3rd time. But Zhuo Qingwan turned to Feng Wu again. "I've been playing by the book all my life, but I want to do something willful today. Feng Wu, will you be my disciple?" That was the 3rd time she asked Feng Wu. Zhuo Qingwan did it. At first, the students had hoped that being someone of their own age, Zhuo Qingwan would be easy to get along with. But after the 3 questions, she had proven that she wasn't. She was using Feng Wu to assert her authority. Poor Feng Wu. Chapter 25-29 Politically Correct. Chapter 25-29 Politically Correct. Gongsun Mu frowned at Zhuo Qingwan before turning to Feng Wu. "If you turn her down again, you'll need 10 times as many points." Not only would that make it impossible for Feng Wu to graduate, she would also have offended Zhuo Qingwan for the 3rd time. Feng Wu would ruin her own future. But if she said yes now, she might still have a chance. Gongsun Mu wasn't alone. Many students felt the same. They all felt conflicted. It was an indescribable feeling. "I said no." Feng Wu narrowed her eyes. Did Zhuo Qingwan think that she would tolerate her provocation forever? No. Feng Wu said no. Was she nuts? Everyone sucked in their breaths and stared at Feng Wu. Zhuo Qingwan was greatly satisfied. Feng Wu had humiliated her so many times, and she almost hadn't made it through court. Finally, it was her turn. What she didn't know was that although her plan had worked, the result had also created a loophole. Soon, she would pay dearly for what she had done today. Of course, we'll talk about that later. The assembly was over. The students left in 2s and 3s, all discussing what had just happened. At first, they had expected to make friends with Zhuo Qingwan, but now, all they had for her was reverence. Zhuo Qingwan had become the latest idol of the War Academy. However, because of her aggressive behavior, her popularity had dropped a little from 100% to 95%. Most of the 5% felt sorry for Feng Wu. Xiaoga jumped to her feet when everyone was gone. "Xiao Wu, that was outrageous." She had tried to say those words all this time, but Feng Wu stopped her. Why wouldn't you let me say anything? She's obviously abusing her power. She's getting back at you because His Royal Highness was nice to you. I'll tell everyone that you're His Royal Highnesses. Duan Chaoga. Feng Wu glared at her. Chaoga would back off whenever Feng Wu became serious. Feng Wu said, I have my plan, and your willful behavior will only get in my way. Our enemy will use you to get to me. It has always been like that. Can't you see it? Chaoga said, I just can't help it. Feng Wu said, You must. Losing control of your temper will only become your downfall. Chaoga said, All right. Sun Jingyu and a few others walked in their direction. Sun Jingyu felt entitled to give orders to new students of Class E. She said to Feng Wu, Do you know what new students must do? Feng Wu was bewildered. Sun Jingyu smirked. All new students clean the toilets for a month. Now go, both of you. The students around her all burst out laughing. Because Feng Wu had offended Chief Qingwan, it was now the politically correct thing to do to bully her. Chapter 25:30 10 times more. Chapter 25:30 10 times more. Feng Wu smiled. A task for new students, you say? Sun Jingyu didn't reply, but Mu Qianqian nodded. That's right. Get on with it. Feng Wu pointed at Gu Xingyuan and Chu Junying. They're new as well. Mu Qianqian frowned. Just do as you're told. You should be honored to be given such a job. Feng Wu said, What if I refuse? Mu Qianqian said, Then we'll deduct your points. You. Feng Wu began to walk away before Mu Qianqian could finish. Be my guest. You. Mu Qianqian turned to Sun Jingyu for help. Jingyu, did you see that? Who the hell does she think she is, His Royal Highness's fiancée? Sun Jingyu gave her a stern look, and she immediately stopped talking. Ling Hao arrived at that moment. He came alone, while the rest of his team waited for him some distance away. What's this? Are you bullying the new students? Ling Hao asked angrily. Sun Jingyu's stomach lurched. Ling Hao was from Class B, which was a lot more advanced than Class C. They didn't dare to talk back to him. The War Academy was a hierarchical place. Sun Jingyu threw a dirty look at Feng Wu and walked away. Are you all right? Ling Hao sounded concerned. Feng Wu shrugged. I'm fine. Sun Jingyu was a petty character, and Feng Wu knew she wouldn't stay in Class E for much longer, so she wasn't bothered. Ling Hao sighed. Why are you so stubborn? You could have become the deputy chief's own disciple. Zhuo Qingwan is young, but she's a spiritual king. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Chaga said, So what? Xiao Wu will be a spiritual king soon. Who are you kidding? Ling Hao didn't take her seriously. He told Feng Wu, Fine, you don't like her. I think I know why. Feng Wu was perplexed. Ling Hao said, It's because she's His Royal Highness's fiancée, isn't it? Feng Wu said, What? Ling Hao said, I understand. All girls are in love with His Royal Highness, right? Zhuo Qingwan is his fiancée, and it's normal that you don't like her. Feng Wu almost choked on her own spit. She said, I'm amazed. She was amazed by his wild imagination. Ling Hao said, Of course you are. I know what girls are like. You didn't have to make it so obvious, though. Feng Wu shook her head. I just can't stand her. Ling Hao said, Why? Feng Wu said, I just can't. It's not like me. Ling Hao said, How can you take it so lightly? Feng Wu said, Why can't I? Ling Hao said, You'll need 10 times more points. Do you know what that means? Feng Wu said, It's not that bad, is it? Ling Hao said, Yes, it is. You have no idea how difficult it is to earn points. Chapter 25:31 Ways to Earn Points. Chapter 25:31 Ways to Earn Points. Feng Wu asked, How difficult is it? Ling Hao said, Didn't Wang give you an armband? All the points are saved there. You're given 100 points when you register, but accommodation and food will both cost you points. You won't be able to pay for anything if you don't earn points. Feng Wu said, Will I be expelled if I can't pay? Ling Hao stared at her. Do you want to be expelled? Feng Wu said, I don't care, actually. The fairy said in her head, You can't be expelled. Feng Wu asked why. The fairy said. If you're expelled, your master will never wake up. Feng Wu asked, what? Why? The fairy disappeared. Feng Wu was astonished. Was the fairy blackmailing her now? Seeing that Feng Wu was in a daze, Ling Hao waved his hand in front of her face. Feng Wu looked at him. Not, Eve, Ling Hao said. It's more complicated than that. The punishment is more severe than just expulsion. Just earn as many points as possible and don't go into debt. Feng Wu said, I'll do my best. Ling Hao was about to say something else when Feng Wu cut him off. How do I earn points? Ling Hao said, there are a few ways. One is to complete tasks. You can get the request from Wang, and you earn points when you complete them. Another way is through exams. We have an exam every month, and the top 3 students in each class are rewarded. Class E's points are the lowest, but they're enough for junior students like you. Junior students? Feng Wu checked Ling Hao's cultivation level and wanted to shake her head. You're in the same room with Yi Han. I'll get her to... Hey, where is she? Ling Hao turned around and saw that Yi Han wasn't with his team members. Cheng Feng said awkwardly. Yi Han said she didn't feel well, so she went back. Everyone could see that Yi Han didn't like Feng Wu. Ling Hao was embarrassed. Feng Wu shook her head. We'll settle in and go see Wang for our tasks. Don't worry about us. She waved at him, then left with Chaoga. Feng Wu was a level 9 spiritual lord. People in the Imperial capital thought that she was only at level 6, and the students here probably took her for a level 3 spiritual lord. That was because most students in class were at level 3. Chaoga was even at level 2. She barely made it into year 4. The living quarters were huge. However, there were signs everywhere, and they soon found the girls' dormitory. They were stopped at an iron gate. The moderator was a middle-aged woman. She looked condescendingly at Feng Wu and didn't seem very friendly. Feng Wu and Chaoga did everything by the book, so she wasn't able to accuse them of anything when she examined their personal belongings. Chapter 2532, You Must Graduate. Chapter 2532, You Must Graduate. In the end, the moderator could only stare at Feng Wu in resignation. She wondered how this pretty girl had messed with the wrong people. Recalling the person who had hired her, the moderator shook her head and stared at Feng Wu. The room is 90 points a month. Stick out your hand. The woman scanned her armband, and the points were deducted. Before Feng Wu could say anything, Chaoga snapped. 90 points a month? But we only have 100 points. We need to eat. The woman said grumpily. That's the rule. We deduct the points once a month. I don't have the time to scan you every day. Chaoga was furious. She believed that the woman was doing it on purpose. The woman rolled her eyes at Chaoga. If you can't afford a 4-person room, you can move to an 8-person one when they're available. Poor people are so annoying. Chaoga felt humiliated. I'm going to file a complaint. The woman said, Go ahead. Do I need to show you the way? Feng Wu stared at the woman, and the look in her eyes made the woman uneasy. The woman said, What are you waiting for? Get moving. Feng Wu smiled. You never know who'll be the winner in the end. The woman snorted. Zhuo Qingwan was going to be the future wife of the crown prince, and Feng Wu was only an ordinary girl. That was what the woman believed. Hear me out. You should be content with what you have. You're just not built to become someone important. Accept it. You can go to your room now. The woman then chased Feng Wu and Chaoga away from the office. Chaoga was furious, but after what Feng Wu told her, she had to control her temper. Feng Wu asked, You're mad, aren't you? Chaoga said, Yes. Feng Wu said, Then let your frustration become your motivation. Chaoga nodded. They had heard from Ling Hao that there was a cultivation room here. It was rich in the spiritual essence of all elements. Chaoga's cultivation ability had been fundamentally changed in the tomb, and she had taken up unflower skills. As a result, she focused on the fire and wood elements now. Although Fallen Star Yard had a formation for gathering spiritual essence, there wasn't anything that was specifically for the elements she needed. She was looking forward to earning some points so that she could go to that cultivation room. Both she and Feng Wu only had 10 points left, and they could barely afford any food. Their keys said that they were in room 2001. They found the room. The door opened. Feng Wu looked inside and found that it was a spacious flat. There was a living room in the center, and each corner of the living room led to a bedroom. Luckily, each student had their own room. Otherwise, Feng Wu wouldn't be able to stand it. You have to graduate. Otherwise, your master won't wake up, the fairy reminded her again. It seemed that she was worried that Feng Wu would leave. Feng Wu was perplexed. But why? The fairy didn't answer. Chapter 25:33 Until You Surrender. Chapter 25:33 Until You Surrender. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Why did she have to graduate? Did it have something to do with her beautiful master? I can only give you a little hint, the fairy spoke again. It has something to do with the third broken star piece. She stopped talking after that. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Who are you? Who permitted you to come in? Someone shouted at Feng Wu and Chaoga. The girl had a knife in her hand, and she looked like she was ready to start a fight at any moment. Chaoga was already frustrated, and the girl's tone upset her even more. She glared at the girl. We opened the door with our own key. We're going to live here as well. Do you have a problem with that? She tossed her key up and down as she spoke. The girl was called Ziling, and she was also a student of Class C. She glared at Chaoga and Feng Wu, but didn't say anything. Stomping her foot, she went back to her room. She slammed the door behind her. Chaoga pointed at the door and turned to Feng Wu. What's wrong with the people here? Why are they so unfriendly? Feng Wu only smiled. Had it not been for Zhuo Qingwan, they would have been very popular. After Zhuo Qingwan publicly announced her hostility toward Feng Wu, the entire War Academy would support her. Don't mind her, Feng Wu said indifferently. Don't mind her? Of course, Chaoga minded that girl's attitude. She couldn't understand how Feng Wu could remain unaffected. The best 2 rooms had been picked, leaving them with 2 inferior ones. Chaoga opened one and found that it was filled with old junk. Did someone turn this place into a storage unit? Chaoga shouted at the 2 closed doors. But no one answered. Ziling smirked. Because those 2 rooms had been empty for a while, Yihan turned one of them into her storage room. Ziling had followed suit after that. Chaoga smirked. If you won't empty out the rooms, I'll do it for you. She opened the doors. Feng Wu had given her a storage bag, so she emptied both rooms with a wave of her hand. She then went to Ziling and Yihan's rooms. Whoosh! She dumped everything outside their rooms, blocking their doors. Hearing the noise, Ziling opened the door. The junk poured into her room. Ziling came out and wanted to slap Chaoga. But she wasn't Chaoga's match. Chapter 25:34 OMG. Chapter 25:34 OMG. Chaoga pinned Ziling's hands behind her back. Let go of me. Yihan, help. Ziling cried out. But Yihan's door never opened. No one knew if Yihan was in her room. Probably not. You've both disrespected Miss Qingwan. You're going to die. Ziling threatened Chaoga. Let go of me. I'll kick your ass. Chaoga smirked. Fine. Bring it on. Thump. 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 More blows were exchanged. Ziling was covered with bruises and couldn't even stand up. She sincerely regretted her decision. She couldn't understand how a new student could beat her. She was an average student in Class E. That shouldn't happen. She wished that she hadn't confronted the 2 girls. Chaoga stepped on Ziling's back. Ready to surrender? Ziling wanted to say no. Chaoga said, I can do this all day. Ziling didn't want to fight her anymore. Chaoga smirked. If you want some more fights, I can give you that chance. Ziling was so frightened that she almost burst into tears. Why was the girl so fierce? They fought from morning to evening, and Ziling felt like all her bones were broken. I surrender, she said. Chaoga let go of her. You'll be my minion from now on. You'll have to do as Xiao Wu says. Understood? Ziling couldn't understand it. If she had become Chaoga's minion, why should she follow Feng Wu's orders? Seeing the way Chowga handled Zi-Ling like a chicken, Feng Wu felt sorry for the girl. She handed Zi-Ling some ointment. For your wounds. Her face was bruised and swollen. Zi-Ling didn't know how miserable she looked until she stood in front of a mirror. She cried out. Chowga snapped. Quiet. It's just a little scratch. A little scratch? Look at my face. Zi-Ling was almost in tears. The whole class is going on a mission tomorrow. How am I supposed to go out like this? Chowga scratched her ear. Zi-Ling was so loud. Zi-Ling grabbed Chowga's arm and shook her. Did you have to hit my face? My face. She really was crying now. Chowga felt a little guilty. Are you really crying now? Zi-Ling ignored her. Chowga said, Didn't Xiao Wu give you that ointment? That's a supreme level medicine. Use it and you'll be good as new. Zi-Ling didn't believe her because supreme level medicine could be very expensive. It shouldn't be something that Chowga could afford. See for yourself, said Chowga. That's not even her best work. Zi-Ling thought. You're still lying to me. I won't be taken for a fool. She threw away the bottle. Thud. The bottle cracked when it hit the floor, and the smell filled the air. Chapter 2535, How Generous One. Chapter 2535, How Generous One. The bottle cracked when it hit the floor, and the smell filled the air. What a wonderful smell. Zi-Ling ran over and picked up what was left of the bottle. It really was a supreme level medicine. No, it can't be. Medicines of that level are so expensive. Why would she give it to me for free? Chowga rolled her eyes at Zi-Ling. That's the last one. Throw it away if you want. Zi-Ling felt conflicted, but if her wounds weren't treated, she couldn't go out tomorrow. Fine, I'll use it. Zi-Ling scooped up some of the ointment and applied it to her skin. She smeared it on her face, her arms, and her legs. She didn't know if she would recover in time. The idea of meeting the whole class like this the following morning made her frustrated. I'll never forgive you if I can't recover by tomorrow. Zi-Ling stormed back to her room. Early the next morning. Chowga! Chowga! Zi-Ling banged excitedly on Chowga's door. Chowga was still in bed, and she opened the door with a flick of her fingers. Chowga! Zi-Ling ran into the room, opened the curtain to let the sunlight in, and grabbed Chowga's hand. Chowga didn't like being woken up this way. Zi-Ling said, Look, all my wounds and bruises are gone. Chowga said sleepily, All right. Zi-Ling said, Look, my skin is so smooth. It has never been this good before. She had always felt inferior because of her darker skin tone, but after using the ointment, she was glowing. It was incredible. Chowga nodded and wanted to go back to sleep. Zi-Ling wouldn't let her. Just look at me. I'm so fair now. Chowga rolled her eyes at Zi-Ling. Why are you so surprised? You used the supreme level medicine. Say another word, and I'll slap you. Let me sleep. Zi-Ling didn't dare say a word. Despite having been told off, she was thrilled. It really was a bottle of supreme level medicine. Gosh, how rich was Feng Wu? It suddenly occurred to her that she had only used less than half of what was in the bottle, and the rest was still on the floor. Zi-Ling ran out to the living room. The ointment was still there on the floor. Her eyes lit up. Just then, someone walked in and stepped on. Zi-Ling almost wept. You! She pointed at Yihan. How could you step on it? She had stepped on the ointment. Zi-Ling had wanted to cover the rest of her body with the ointment. Yihan shook her head. Why are you making such a big fuss? It's only a pair of shoes. Chapter 2536, How Generous, 2. Chapter 2536, How Generous, 2. Zi-Ling thought. Who cares about your shoes? My ointment. She ran so fast that she almost knocked Yihan down. The white ointment had turned black after Yihan stepped on it. Zi-Ling glared at her. Yihan was confused. What's the matter with you? What's with all this junk? Zi-Ling looked at the ointment on the floor and hated Yihan. But most importantly, Zi-Ling knelt on the floor and scooped all the ointment into an empty bottle. She almost wanted to rub her face on the floor. Yihan stared at her and asked incredulously, Are you nuts? Ziling ignored her. When Yihan saw the pile of things outside her door, she was furious. What on earth is going on here? Ziling was too focused on the medicine to answer her question. Thump, thump, thump. Yihan tried to open the door to her original storage room, but it wouldn't open. Frustrated, she banged on the door. It was now Feng Wu's room. Feng Wu was cultivating and wouldn't answer the door. What are you doing? Xiaoge opened her door and asked angrily. How dare this person bang on Xiao Wu's door? Yihan was furious. She pointed at the pile of things behind her. What the hell did you do? Xiaoge said impatiently. I should be the one asking that question. Why did you put your things everywhere? If you don't want them, I'll throw them out. Yihan said, That's my stuff. Xiaoge said, Is that so? Who gave you the permission to put your things wherever you want? Yihan glared at her. Xiaoge said, We each have one room only. What makes you think that you can occupy someone else's room? You don't get to question me. She was about to slam her door shut. Stop right there, Yihan said coldly. Xiaoge turned around to face her. Yihan said, Clear out your room now. I need it for my things. Xiaoge found the demand idiotic. Yihan said, Do it now. She didn't like Duan Xiaoge, and she disliked Feng Wu even more. She hadn't liked Feng Wu ever since Ling Hao gave her a warm welcome. And it only became worse when Feng Wu became the center of attention at the morning assembly. Xiaoge rolled her eyes at Yihan. What if I say no? Yihan smirked. Are you sure? Xiaoge said, Positive. Yihan said, Fine. I'll beat you until you say yes. She charged at Xiaoge. After learning unflower skills, Xiaoge was a very capable cultivator now. Yihan was from Class B and should be more advanced than Xiaoge. Thump, thump, thump. They started exchanging blows. Yihan narrowed her eyes. She didn't expect the new student to be such a good fighter, but she didn't think that Xiaoge was her match. Chapter 25:37 How Generous 3 Chapter 25:37 How Generous 3 Xiaoge indeed wasn't Yihan's match. She would fight back when she had the chance, but Yihan could easily overwhelm her. She was going to lose after 30 blows. Thump! Yihan struck at Xiaoge. Xiaoge would be severely injured if Yi Yan's blow hit her. Xiaoge, watch out! Ziling cried out. Before she knew it, Ziling had sided with Xiaoge and was worried about her. But the next moment, thump! Yihan was kicked away with tremendous force. How did that happen? Ziling watched as Yihan flew away. She then looked at Feng Wu, who was helping Xiaoge to her feet. Gosh, holy crap. She couldn't believe her eyes. That was Feng Wu, the new student, the supposedly useless Feng Wu. But she had just kicked Yihan away so easily. Yihan was a student of Class B, the second best class. Ziling sucked in a breath. She wasn't the only one who was shocked. Yihan fell and slid a few meters over the floor before she stopped when she hit the wall. Luckily, the War Academy used the best soundproofing material. No one outside heard the noise. There was a burning pain in Yihan's back. Being a Class B student, she thought she could easily crush the new students. It had never occurred to her that she would be the one who was crushed. No, it had to be a coincidence. Yihan struggled to her feet. She glared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu, did you do this? Yihan was furious. Feng Wu didn't even look at her. She ignored me. Yihan was humiliated. Who the hell do you think you are? You've offended Miss Qingwan. You'll never graduate. Just die. Yihan charged at Feng Wu. Feng Wu was asking Xiaoge, Are you hurt? Xiaoge said, It's just a scratch. Feng Wu gave her a bottle of supreme level ointment. Another bottle? Ziling was so excited that she trembled. However, she was kind enough to warn Feng Wu. Watch out. Yihan was already by Feng Wu's side. No one saw how Feng Wu moved, but thump. Yihan flew away, just like before, and she landed in the same spot. She smashed into the wall again. Wow. She spat out a mouthful of blood. Ziling was amazed. Gosh, Feng Wu was. Ziling had seen it clearly this time. It really was Feng Wu. Feng Wu only moved when Yihan was a leg away from her. Chapter 2538, How Generous 4. Chapter 2538, How Generous 4. Yihan couldn't even withstand one kick. A student from Class B was so easily defeated. Feng Wu, I'm going to kill you. Yihan spat out another mouthful of blood. Ziling suddenly felt sorry for Yihan. But Yihan wouldn't admit her defeat. She struggled to her feet and charged at Feng Wu for the third time. This time, she was kicked away just like the first 2 times. She kept trying until it was the 10th time. This time, she couldn't get up anymore. She lay on the floor and stared at Feng Wu. Her mouth and clothes were covered with blood, and the fact that Feng Wu was better than her filled her with despair. She had been angry the first 2 times, and the 2 times after that. Then she became confused. By the 10th time, she finally admitted her defeat. Ziling felt sorry for Yihan, but she was happy that it wasn't her. Luckily, she had surrendered in time. Otherwise, she would be the one crying on the floor now. She walked up to Yihan, knelt on the floor, and took out the last bit of ointment she had. Sister Yi, this is... Yihan pushed her away before she could finish. With how severely injured she was, it was amazing that she could push Ziling so hard. Although Ziling managed to steady herself, she dropped what was left of the ointment. Thump! The porcelain bowl fell on the ground. My ointment. Ziling really was crying now. Yihan struggled to her feet and stared at Feng Wu coldly. She took a deep breath and jumped out the window. She hadn't killed herself, had she? Chaoga rushed to the window and saw Yihan stumble away. She's so stubborn, Chaoga mumbled. Ziling was concerned. Is Sister Yi going to be all right? Feng Wu nodded. It's not as bad as it looks. Her internal organs will be fine as long as she doesn't do anything reckless. Staying in bed for 2 weeks and using some Supreme level medicine should do the trick. Ziling was baffled. Some Supreme level medicine? Not everyone had that. Most people would never encounter something like that in their lifetime. Feng Wu watched as Chaoga bundled the things into Yihan's room and cleaned the living room. Did you say that there was going to be a big event today? That's right. Ziling showed Feng Wu to the door. There was a schedule on the wall. We have a major assembly today. Ziling said, all students of Class E are going on a mission together, and we only have 15 minutes left. Let's go. Feng Wu, Chaoga, and Ziling were all in Class C. Ziling explained it to them on their way to the gathering. Chapter 2539, The Mission 1. Chapter 2539, The Mission 1. Missions like these are our best chance to earn points. Miss Feng Wu, can I team up with you? Ziling asked excitedly. Before, she would have stayed far away from Feng Wu, but things were different now. She had seen Feng Wu's true power. She had kicked Yihan away so easily, and Yihan was from Class B. How terrifying would her real power be? And Ziling knew that she could use that sort of help. Follow Feng Wu, and she would win. Feng Wu asked, earn points? How? Ziling's eyes sparkled. She said, the 1,500 students of Class E will be divided into 5-member teams. That's 300 teams in total. The teams will be ranked by the points they get, and members of the top team will each earn 100 extra points. The best member of that team will get another 100 points. The second best team will get 80 points. The third one will get 60 points. The fourth to the 100th will get 40 points. The 100th to the 200th, 20 points. The last 100 teams won't receive any points. Absent students, students who ask for help, and those who take leave will have their points deducted. How many points do you have now? Ziling asked. Chaoga said 10. Ziling's eyes widened. How is that possible? We each have 100 points to start with, don't we? Chaoga said, yes, but this room costs 90 points a month. Ziling stared at her. The look gave Chaoga the creeps. What? Ziling asked. Why did you pay the rent for the whole month when you can pay by the week? Some students even pay every 5 or 3 days. How are you going to pay for your meals now? Chaoga was shocked. The moderator had lied to them. Ziling said, apart from accommodation, taking classes will cost you points as well. Everyone has to save up, or they won't be able to last for long in this place. Chowga asked, "Do I have to pay to go to classes?" Ziling said, "Of course. As long as you can afford it, you can go to whichever class you want." Duan Chowga stared in shocked silence. Ziling said, "A big event like this doesn't happen every day, so we have to cherish this opportunity. Individual tasks are much more time-consuming. If you only have 10 points, you have to work hard this time. Otherwise, you won't be able to attend any class." Fengwu glanced at the moderator on their way out. The woman raised her chin in an arrogant manner. Chapter 2540, The Mission 2. Chapter 2540, The Mission 2. Just then, they saw someone coming their way. The person came from the villa section. It was none other than Zhuo Qingwan herself. The moderator beamed at Zhuo Qingwan when she saw her. "Miss Qingwan." She greeted the girl from afar and bowed. Zhuo Qingwan didn't even glance at the woman as she walked past her. The woman only raised her head after Zhuo Qingwan was a few hundred meters away. She said, "She's so young but so talented, and she's the crown prince's fiancée as well. Her future is so promising." She then sneered at Fengwu and Chowga. Fengwu couldn't be bothered to respond. Fearing that Fengwu would be angry, Ziling dragged her and Chowga away. After a few hundred meters, Chowga threw off her hand and asked, "Why did we run?" Ziling whispered, "You don't want to cross that woman." Chowga asked, "Why should I be afraid of her?" Ziling said, "Because her husband is one of the assistant tutors of Class E. Each class was led by a chief tutor and 5 assistant tutors." Chowga said, "Even the chief tutor can't scare me." Ziling rolled her eyes at Chowga. "All tutors are capable cultivators, even the ones of Class E. They're as good as Class A graduates, if not better. You were crushed by Yi Han, and you'll surely be crushed by any of the tutors. Don't do anything impulsive, okay?" Chowga only smirked. Since Fengwu had defeated Yi Han, Ziling felt that she was good enough to be a Class B student. Yi Han was one of the weaker students, however, so Ziling believed that Fengwu should only be above average in Class B. But that was impressive enough. It would make her invincible in Class E. Soon, they arrived at the designated location. Almost all the students had arrived, and they had picked their teammates. Someone called Ziling's name. "Ziling, join us. We have 1 spot left." A teenager named Lu Xiao waved at her. Next to him was a girl named Zhenya, who frowned at the suggestion. Ziling glanced at Zhenya and shook her head. "That's all right. I have a team already." Zhenya took Lu Xiao's arm affectionately. "Lu Xiao, she has her own team. Let's not trouble her." Lu Xiao frowned when he saw Fengwu. It was obvious that Ziling's teammate was the new student who had offended Chief Qingwan. "Ziling, why are you with them? You'll be a bottom team." Lu Xiao tried to pull Ziling away. Zhenya gave Ziling a warning look. Ziling pretended not to notice it. She said grumpily, "It's my choice. Go back to your team." She then dragged Fengwu and Chowga in the other direction. "Team up with Fengwu and you'll lose." Lu Xiao shouted after Ziling. Ziling thought, "You have no idea how good Fengwu is." Because of what Lu Xiao said, everyone looked in their direction. It's Fengwu. Everyone had almost forgotten about the once genius girl, but Zhuo Qingwan had jogged their memories. Chapter 2541, The Mission 3. Chapter 2541, The Mission 3. Since she had been targeted by Zhuo Qingwan, Fengwu would have a very difficult time here in War Academy. Chowga asked curiously, "What's their problem? Why do I feel like that girl doesn't like you?" Ziling said, "Just ignore them." Chowga and Fengwu exchanged looks and decided that there had to be a story behind it. By then, they only had 3 minutes left. If no one else joined them, they would only have 3 people in their team. With 3 team members only, they were bound to become the team with the lowest points. At least, that was what Zhenya believed. "Who do we have here? What? Can't you find any teammates?" Mu Qianqian asked in a taunting voice. Sun Jingyu was by her side. Feng Wu glanced at her and ignored the question. Mu Qianqian felt as if she had just been slapped. Feng Wu, she bellowed. Chaoga glared at her. Stop shouting at us. Who the hell do you think you are? Sun Jingyu cut them off. Be quiet. Do you want to do this or not? The 5 of us will form a team. That's it. Chaoga asked, what if I say no? Sun Jingyu was very persistent. You're new students here, and you don't know the rules. You're so weak, and we're going to fight white and lion elephants this time. If you're killed, it's my points that will be deducted. So shut up. Duan Chaoga stared in shocked silence. She had never lost a quarrel until now. She wanted to retort, but Sun Jingyu had the moral high ground. Mu Qianqian smirked. We're doing you a favor, okay? Don't be ridiculous. Chaoga said, we don't need your help. Mu Qianqian said, the class president can decide which students go to which teams. Unless you're not a student of Class E, you have to follow her orders. Guys, am I right? The students answered in unison, yes. Chaoga was speechless. Feng Wu patted her shoulder. It's all right. She didn't care who she teamed up with. But it was very unlike Sun Jingyu to be so helpful towards some new students. Lu Xiao said enviously, with Jingyu's help, that team may actually get quite a few points. Jinyu smirked. Jingyu is good, but those 3 are all weaklings. Do you think Jingyu alone can change anything? That team is doomed. The other students were all amazed by how generous their class president was. Chaoga was mad. Feng was too good to take part in such an event. That class president was a hypocrite who wanted to steal the spotlight. Every team leader received a number. Because Sun Jingyu was the class president, her team always got number 1. And Sun Jingyu had always been the most outstanding team player in Class E. Chapter 2542, The Mission for. Chapter 2542, The Mission for. Everyone looked enviously at Feng Wu and Chaoga. Feng Wu couldn't be bothered to respond. Chaoga was speechless. Ziling was excited. The class president was on her team. We're going to be the best team, she thought to herself. An assistant tutor was already speaking on the platform. Their mission was to hunt white and lion elephants. The animals lived in the outer circle of Thousand Night Forest. They were giant beasts with the head of a lion and the body of an elephant. They had terrifying strength. A student could earn a point when they obtained a crystal core from a white and lion elephant. Feng Wu was in Team 001, and Lu Xiao was in Team 015. Jingyu, you're not on our team this time. I'm so sad, someone said mockingly as she walked past Feng Wu. Feng Wu looked up. The girl beamed at her. I'm Pei Si. Would you like to join my team? Feng Wu frowned. There was something condescending about the girl's tone, which she didn't like. You don't want to? Miss President is going to get you killed. See you later. Pei Si's 4 friends chuckled and dashed off. That stupid girl. How dare she act like she's better than us? Mu Qianqian clenched her fists. Feng Wu glanced at Ziling. Ziling explained, Class E has a ranking system. All the students are on it, and it's updated each month. Jingyu is currently the top student, and Pei Si is second. She then lowered her voice. Pei Si only joined the academy last year, but she's been making rapid progress. Jingyu feels threatened because Pei Si is also outgoing and likes to make friends. Chaoga was glad to hear that. Feng Wu knew what Sun Jingyu was doing. Someone higher up had probably given Sun Jingyu instructions, telling her to choose Feng Wu as a team member so as to plot against her later. At that thought, she glanced at Sun Jingyu. She recalled what the assistant tutor said earlier. No one is allowed to rob other people of their crystal cores, retaliate against personal enemies, go deep into the woods. Or, Ziling whispered, Mr. Tan, the assistant tutor, is the moderator's husband. As for what kind of person he is, you'll see. Let's begin. After Mr. Tan made that announcement, the students dashed off in all directions. Let's go, Mu Qianqian said impatiently. Do you think the white and lion elephants are going to come to you? Chaoga glared at her. Be polite. Mu Qianqian said, I am polite. Their shouting was giving Sun Jingyu a headache, so she shouted, Shut up, both of you. Mu Qianqian immediately stopped talking, and Chaoga didn't persist either. Sun Jingyu glared at Fengwu. Keep your friend on a leash. Fengwu shrugged. Sun Jingyu wanted to smack Fengwu, but she had a mission, so she could only take a deep breath. Chapter 2543, Take Action 1. Chapter 2543, Take Action 1. Sun Jingyu snorted. Enough with the nonsense. Follow me. I know where to find the whitened lion elephants. While she took the lead, Mu Qianqian walked to the rear. Fengwu wondered if they were making sure that no one followed them. She looked forward to seeing what would happen next. Sun Jingyu led them to the northeast. At first, there were many students around, but as they walked deeper into the woods, there was hardly anyone around. Ziling felt that something was wrong, so she asked, "Why haven't we started hunting?" She had seen several whitened lion elephants running past them. They didn't need to carry the entire animal back. The crystal core alone was enough. It was so convenient, but they hadn't started yet. Ziling was perplexed. But she didn't dare question Sun Jingyu either, so she asked the question in a tiny voice. Mu Qianqian snapped, "Shut up. Who gave you permission to speak?" Ziling immediately fell silent. A common class C student like Ziling wouldn't dare offend the more influential groups, and Mu Qianqian was a member of such a group. Chaoga was displeased and glared at Mu Qianqian. "You shut up. Who the hell do you think you are?" "You." Mu Qianqian was about to retort, when Sun Jingyu silenced her with a glance. Mu Qianqian took the hint. She smirked and ignored Chaoga. Chaoga didn't see the interaction. She patted Ziling on the shoulder and said, "They like bullying nice people. Be fiercer, and she won't dare to treat you that way." Ziling didn't know what to say. She wanted to do that, but she wasn't capable enough. Mu Qianqian threw a dirty look at Chaoga. "You just wait. I'll make you cry later." They traveled a few more kilometers and were about to reach the middle of the woods. Sun Jingyu stopped. "Let's wait here," she said. Mu Qianqian was thrilled. She clenched her fists and gave Fengwu and Chaoga a taunting look. "It's so dangerous here." Ziling stepped onto a rock and looked into the valley nearby. "There are so many whitened lion elephants down there." Chaoga asked curiously, "Isn't that a good thing?" Sun Jingyu and Mu Qianqian were both amazed by her question. "Gosh, there are so many of them." Chaoga looked to the northeast and saw a large pack of whitened lion elephants in the valley. That place looked like their natural habitat. That must be where all the whitened lion elephants came from. Just then, they heard a loud noise. Boom! That was... "The whitened lion elephants are coming," Ziling shouted. "It's a pair of them." Chaoga said, "Just two? Why are you so afraid?" Ziling was perplexed, but it then occurred to her. Chaoga is a good cultivator, at least better than I am. And there's Jingyu as well. Chapter 2544, Take Action 2. Chapter 2544, Take Action 2. Ziling didn't see Sun Jingyu and Mu Qianqian when she turned around, and she panicked a little. Where did they go? Chaoga said, "They can go wherever they want. We're better off without them." They were still talking when two white lion elephants noticed them. Fengwu was about to make a move when Chaoga stopped her. "Xiaowu," said Chaoga, "can you wait until I can't hold them back anymore?" Fengwu said, "All right." Chaoga had been making rapid progress lately, and she needed the practice before she made any more breakthroughs. Fengwu handed her fire dragon rod to Chaoga. It was the same weapon she had used to beat up the Gu brothers, but she preferred her sword, so she gave the rod to Chaoga. "Wow, the fire dragon rod." Ziling was thrilled. Fengwu asked, "Do you know what it is?" Ziling said, "Of course. It's ranked the third most effective weapon in its category. It's worth at least millions of gold coins." She stared at Fengwu in disbelief and couldn't imagine how rich the latter had to be. Ziling looked at Chaoga expectantly, wondering how excited the latter had to be. To her surprise, Chaoga wasn't excited. She only picked up the rod and shouted, "Xiaowu, just wait and see." Whoosh! She charged at the animals with the rod in her hand. Chowga had learned her moves from Unflower. Unflower's moves were as elegant as dancing flowers. But Chowga's moves were much more forceful. Watch out! Ziling saw the two white and lion elephants charge at Chowga. Although Sun Jingyu and Mu Qianqian were headed Chowga's way, they didn't show any intention to help her. Grinding her teeth, Ziling grabbed her weapon and charged at the beasts. She stopped one of the white and lion elephants, so that Chowga didn't need to fight two at a time. How ridiculous! Mu Qianqian smirked. I didn't know that she was so stupid. Sun Jingyu snorted. She has a death wish, so let's fulfill it for her. Mu Qianqian was glad when she saw Ziling's reaction. It made her feel that she had chosen the right side. Ziling, on the other hand, was stupid enough to side with the two new students. A 5-member team could only handle 2 white and lion elephants at a time, but now those 3 people were all on their own. Sun Jingyu and Mu Qianqian gloated at their predicament. Thump! Chowga leaped high into the air and smashed down with the fire dragon rod. Both Sun Jingyu and Mu Qianqian were convinced that she was going to fail. They believed that she was going to be trampled. To their surprise, when Chowga charged at the white and lion elephant from above, the animal stopped moving as if it was frozen. That was the effect of the fire dragon rod. It could slow down all living creatures in its range. The white and lion elephant had never felt like this before, and Chowga took advantage of that pause. Chapter 2545, Take Action 3. Chapter 2545, Take Action 3. Thump! The fire dragon rod smashed onto the animal's head. Mu Qianqian's eyes widened. Because Duan Chowga, the new student, killed a white and lion elephant with one strike. Mu Qianqian could never do that all by herself. But she didn't want to admit that Chowga was better than she was. To her astonishment, Chowga was already charging at the other white and lion elephant. Meanwhile, Ziling was being chased around by the white and lion elephant. Chowga leaped into the air again. While the white and lion elephant was slowed down by the fire dragon rod, she hit it on the head. Poof! Its head exploded, and the beast fell into a heap on the ground. Mu Qianqian was astonished. She involuntarily grabbed Sun Jingyu's hand. Jingyu, look. Chowga's reaction was beyond her imagination. Sun Jingyu smirked. She only killed 2 beasts. It's not a big deal. Ziling was amazed. She knew that Chowga was better than she was, but she never expected that with the help of the fire dragon rod, Chowga could do such amazing things. She gave Chowga a thumbs up. Chowga, you're much better than any of the Class C students. Mu Qianqian was displeased. Any of the Class C students? What was that supposed to mean? 3 more white and lion elephants arrived. Mu Qianqian smirked. She didn't believe that Chowga could fight off all 3 fully developed beasts. Thump! Chowga charged at the white and lion elephants before they could make their move. She jumped up and struck one of them. Instinct told her that if she chose the white and lion elephant that was at the front, the other 2 would immediately surround her. But if she chose the one at the rear, the other 2 would need time to react. Her instinct was correct. The third white and lion elephant didn't expect to become the first target, and its head cracked open before it had time to react. By the time the other 2 white and lion elephants realized what had happened and came after Chowga, Ziling had arrived with her sword, shouting, Chowga, just like before. She stalled one of the beasts for Chowga, who would come to help her after she killed the other one. After the first round, they worked even better together this time. Thump! Thump! Chowga killed the 2 white and lion elephants in less than a minute. Ziling was thrilled. She ran toward Chowga and shouted, Chowga, you're amazing. You killed 5 white and lion elephants. Chowga was perplexed. Is that a lot? Ziling said, It's not a lot, but it'll give you enough points. We hunt white and lion elephants quite often, so I know how many beasts each team can kill on average. There are 300 teams in total, and killing 5 white and lion elephants will put our team in the top 200. Ziling was an average student of Class E, and her team was usually ranked around 200. Chapter 2546. Take Action 4. Chapter 2546. Take Action 4. Chaga said, "So we can earn points, right?" Ziling said, "Yes. We'll earn the minimum points when we're ranked higher than 200. Chaga, you're so amazing. My previous teams had to fight a whole day and still couldn't kill 5 beasts." Chaga was perplexed. "But it's so easy." "So easy?" Mu Qianqian wanted to smack Chaga on the head. Killing 5 white lion elephants could never be easy. She would never be able to do it on her own. She's just showing off. Mu Qianqian thought resentfully. Ziling idolized Chaga. "Chaga, you did all that on your own, so you must be as capable as Mu Qianqian is. I can wait to see our final result." Mu Qianqian glared at Ziling. "As capable as I am? Are you blind? I'm clearly much better." "What? Do you have a second opinion?" Chaga glanced at her. Mu Qianqian smirked and wouldn't reply. Chaga said, "Let's have a competition then. See which of us can hunt more white lion elephants." Mu Qianqian still wouldn't answer. Chaga said, "You don't have the guts to compete with me, but you won't admit that I'm better than you. I've never met anyone so pretentious." Mu Qianqian stomped her foot in frustration. "You." Chaga shook her head. "Oh, what? Fight me then. All you ever do is snort. Do you think you're switching on?" Mu Qianqian was infuriated. She rolled up her sleeves. "Bring it on. You can't intimidate me." 5 white lion elephants were coming their way. Chaga glanced at Feng Wu. Somehow, she felt that someone was controlling the number of white lion elephants that could approach them. Could it be Xiao Wu? Right now, Feng Wu was sitting on a rock with her eyes closed and her legs crossed. She was cultivating. Mu Qianqian followed Chaga's gaze and saw Feng Wu on the rock. She smirked. "Why are you looking at her? Do you think she can help you with hunting the white lion elephants? She's useless." Chaga concluded that Mu Qianqian was an idiot. Sun Jingyu felt the same way as Mu Qianqian and sneered at Feng Wu as well. "We're all here to hunt white lion elephants, but she's been sitting there ever since she arrived. Who does she think she is? That's just so arrogant." Sun Jingyu didn't like Feng Wu at all. If she knew how these white lion elephants were being controlled. Chaga charged at the white lion elephants before Mu Qianqian could make a move. Mu Qianqian was scared. Each of the white lion elephants was 10 times bigger than she was. Normally, she couldn't run away fast enough. "Are you scared? What a coward. Let me teach you how to hunt." "No, you won't." Mu Qianqian was furious. Agitated by Chaga's words, she grabbed her sword and charged out before Sun Jingyu could stop her. Thump! Chaga ran away from the pack after she killed the first white lion elephant. Mu Qianqian just happened to run into the circle at that moment. Immediately, 4 white lion elephants surrounded her. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.